Hello, welcome to a brand new Unsourced Wall Radio. I'm joined here again by two of my frequent co-hosts, Mikhail and Doug. We're here to talk about the brand new Predator movie, Badlands. It's Dan Trachtenberg's third Predator movie, the second mainline one he's done, and the first in a while to be theatrical. First theatrical only right now. I'm excited to talk about it. You know, Predator is like the sub franchise to Alien. You know, I love Alien, Predator. I mean, come on, let's go into it. So just to talk about our first thoughts here. Mikhail, you're up on next in the round. How about you give us your first thoughts on this, general ideas? Let's get going.
Just on I really like Badlands. I wish that the print or screening that I was at projected it better because, well, it was a little dark, so I don't think I got to see the opening scenes that well.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's as great as Prey was. Like, I think Prey is sort of like my favorite Predator movie. Like, for me, that's like rank S. You know what I'm saying? I rank it higher than the original. Sue me.
I will.
Uh,
You're
yeah, but
Pony up.
Badlands. Well, yeah, but I have a lot of reasons for that. Badlands, I think, it's just a really, I think it's just like a really cool, confident kind of, mythic adventure movie. This is a very Star Wars-esque film in some ways, for good and for ill. But I really love how confident it is. How self-assured it is. Like it's not a horror film. That's like the thing. That's one reason why I feel they decided not to go with an R rating. They were kind of pivoting away from, the horror film origins of Predator. So now, like, yeah, we have like a grand sort of space adventure kind of, mythic storytelling. Like the opening scenes, I think really set the mood for that, right? Like, because it opens right with that codex, with that codex entry. It sort of like immerses you in this, almost like, I don't know,
Fantasy.
mythic. Right. And this sort of fantasy and this sort of like, it kind of gives it like a whole, I guess like a fantastic mythic feel, right?
It's
And
like
the
the
way that
Conan
it's
the
shot.
Barbarian movie,
Yeah.
starring
eh,
a
Yeah,
and-
Predator.
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
noticing a lot with franchise movies where like you can pinpoint a couple of recent franchise movies where like what if this was just like a high fantasy adventure, but we just made it like fit this genre mold. It came to Planet of the Apes that did that. This did that. Something we talked about recently, I forgot what it was, did it as well. We're like, what if it's like instead of a wizard, it's like some sort of supercomputer or something like that. And it's just like they're still on a big, high fantastical adventure through like a fantasy world, but it's like it's sci-fi or it's crime based or something like that. You see that a lot nowadays. I find it interesting. I think it's a good way.
Yeah, when it works, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely think it works here. I feel that this movie knows exactly what it wants to be. Like there's no confusion here. I really like the script, like how tight it is, all of the storytelling, and it's very good old-fashioned meat and potatoes like storytelling, complete with character arcs, setups and payoffs and all that. And it is a big swing for this franchise. It is a notable tonal shift. Like I'm surprised at how funny it is. I know that some people might have some issues with the I guess like the jokiness of it, but overall I think it's balanced quite well with the more serious dramatic material. Like honestly, for a PG-13 film, I was surprised at how dark it actually gets sometimes, just in terms of like like what they show, like or how hard they hit certain things. Um, uh, yeah, I would probably rank it as overall, like I would rank it as like number 3 on my like in my ranking list of the Predator franchise.
That's where I have it currently, although I still haven't seen The Predator, so maybe that's my favorite.
Who knows, man? You could be the
No.
one. You could be the one.
Oh, maybe.
All right. So Doug, let's squeeze that good transition. Unless Michael has anything else to say.
No, I'm good.
All right. So Doug, give us your thoughts on Badlands. You know where you are with it right now.
I'm in a pretty good place. I had a solid time. I mean, besides some talky kids in my theater, that's like the trade-off with it being PG-13 now, that there's like more kids in the theater, and I'm like, okay, well, they're seeing something cool, whatever. I'll allow it, but they better keep it quiet once the movie starts. And they did. Like the movie's good enough that it starts to suck you into its world. And yeah, just going off what you said, like it just feels like it's this epic high fantasy adventure in this world. It's expanding. Trachtenberg keeps expanding what this franchise can be in really interesting ways, whereas a lot of franchises at this deep end almost contract, like they go in the opposite direction, like they feel smaller after so many entries, where it's like, oh, is there really anything new you can do here? And Trachtenberg keeps showing like, no, you can do a lot of stuff with this franchise. It's not just commandos in the jungle, which like a lot of this franchise was variations on that of of like, yeah, okay, the first one is classic, but you don't have to keep like redoing various riffs on that. Like you can do a whole different kind of story while still like staying true to that core idea of like, uh the predator of surviving the predator and having to outwit it. And this uses a lot of this. Like I rewatched Prey before this, and I was kind of surprised of like, wow, it's using a lot of the same. Like his arc is not dissimilar from Naru's. It's just that now we're following a predator POV. Like he's trying to prove himself like she was, and like you even have the whole arc of like all the previous little things that he's encountered that almost killed him throughout the movie, he's now using in the climax. Like she does that at the end of Prey also, of like, okay, so that's cool that we're still we're doing something different, but we're not actually even straying that far from the show. Like it's still hitting familiar beats, but not in a way that felt like overly pandering or like I yeah, it does things where like on paper, if you told me some stuff that was in it, I would probably bristle at it, because I am kind of like very anti franchiseification these days, of like how trying to build out these connected universes. But this avoids most of that. I mean, we can talk about like the larger ramifications of it, but I like that this is like a pretty self-contained story.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like Predator, at the very least, because it's never been like a lofty franchise. It's always been very kind of blustery, and I think that works in its favor when it does things that are a little bit outside the mold. It can stay formulaic, and I think it should at a core level stay formulaic, because that's the kind of franchise, not something we want to have too much loftiness, too much things going up the surface. You want to have something simple, but that's fun and creative in its own right. And I feel like, overall, there's only been a couple of times where that's been a bit of a misstep here and there with the franchise. But I think overall, especially like with some of them, I think the only ones that really contract, like you mentioned, are our bottom two. I'm gonna bring them up right now because I hate them. Killer of Killers and the Predator. I feel like those two really didn't evolve anything. They felt like the most like, we're just gonna play greatest hits and hope it works, and it didn't for me. Everything else, excluding the AVPs, which are a totally different thing. I think they each have something that makes them unique in a way. And this one right now, I agree with most of everything you said. I think that this is probably my number 4. My top 3 would probably be Original, Prey, and Predator 2, because Predator 2 rocks.
I need to rewatch Predator 2, but I remember liking it a lot.
I like it a lot. I think I like it. I like how stupid and silly it is, but like it's just stupid and silly enough.
But in like that 90s way,
yeah,
was,
exactly.
like, very charming.
Okay, I love Predator 2, and I just want to clarify: are we going to talk about like those entries in and of themselves?
Like, no, I don't. I think if you want to reference them in point to Badlands, I think that might be like maybe if you want to go in depth, it's maybe a different subject there. But if you want, I think it's perfectly natural to bring them up in reference to Badlands.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, because I really feel like Predator 2 is
Oh, go ahead.
it's one of those movies that was I wouldn't say exactly ahead of its time, but in terms of but like but it was really underrated. And like I have a whole thesis now about how our understanding of what a franchise is, of what sequels are supposed to do and what they can be, it has shifted, so much in the last 15 years, especially, so that, you look back at these movies, which were not like necessarily continuing, what the first movie did, and they look like so much better in hindsight,
Yeah, like, I think that's perfectly natural to bring up. You want to bring it up, we get into more in depth what we thought about the film, by all means. I mean, I agree. I'd love to say, even like, people always mention how the Alien movies what made them different. They're all very distinct, different genres, even. And I feel like Predator, even though it's like, it's like their bro frat house cousin of the Alien franchise, it followed the same kind of rule, You have Predator, that's like like a war military action movie, and then you have Predator 2, and I think it does a great job of taking advantage of its city landscape and in kind of a Demolition Man kind of
an urban jungle, if you will.
Urban jungle. I think isn't that like the subtitle in some areas of the world?
I feel like it was.
It probably. I think it was.
I think it might have been like the tagline or something. Like,
like he's come to the urban jungle now.
No. The tagline I always see is he's in town for a few days to kill. Like, oh,
that's a good one.
No, but I think also Gary Busey's character says, like, like, this is his jungle, like the city is a war zone, and this is his or something like that.
They make the direct comparison at some point, just in case you don't get it. Like, you're like, where's the jungle? It's a Predator movie. They're like, no, don't worry, there's a jungle.
It's like the trees. It's like King Kong. King Kong has got the same idea. Anyway, but no, I agree. So again, like, and then you have Predator, and you have Predators. It's like, what if there was a bunch of humans that all had something? They're all like different kinds of like not just military guys. They're criminals and killers from all walks of life. And I think that was interesting too. So I don't really, quite agree. I'll give a little pushback on that. It's always been variation on the same kind of thing. I think it's always switched up at least enough, other than Predator, the Predator, and Killer Killers, which I really
I'll give it that. I mean, it tries to have some element. And now I'm thinking about, like, Alien feels different in the sense that, like, all those directors put their stamp on it, but it is one formula basically of, like, there's an alien loose and we got to run away from it, like that is ultimately what they mostly come down to. I guess the really prequels kind of skirt that. They're just like, hey, what if robots and God?
And we all thank him for it.
Okay,
let me just finish what's on Badlands. So again, number 4, I really liked it. I really, really hated the comedy. I did. I think there's only maybe like 5 gags that work for me, and everything else, I feel like if you cut it, all the rest of the jokes out of the movie, all right, other than those 5 gags I liked, it would be like a 9 out of 10 for me.
In Badlands, you mean?
In Badlands,
yeah.
Comedy just sucks ass. It just does.
It did feel like they're going Marvel.
Broad.
I was like, oh, this is like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm sorry. I know everyone loves Elle Fanning, and she does a really great job as the evil one, right? Spoilers. But everything she says, like 8 out of 10 times, I'm like, God damn it! Why don't you just shut up? This is so bad.
I don't agree with that.
It's too treacly. Like, oh my God, I like the concept. I do like their dynamic, but like almost everything she says,
we can get into it, because I think the one performance is stronger than the other in terms of the dual performances. I think it's more in terms of the writing for the other sister.
Writing. The writing there.
I don't know that the performance is the problem with.
No, the performance is not the problem. It's the performance is not the problem. I like the character concept. I like the dynamic. The dynamic is there. They have really great chemistry. But just the humor, and she's like the main facet of the humor. Like, this is just, oh my God, man, it's terrible stuff. But yeah, go ahead. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. So, Mikhail, you seem like you're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't entirely agree with. I mean, I get like that look, I get it, like, the humor, blah, blah, but what I'm saying, but I would say for me, it was never distracting. Like, I felt it was very organic to what this movie was doing. Like, maybe at times it gets a little, too cutesy here and there. I mean, especially with Bud, like that kind of, because Bud, I think at some point was even doing a bit of a Grogu parody, in one scene, like he shows up like in a hood or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But, oh my God! You remember that? Okay. Oh no, that was probably one of the 5 gags. I laughed at that one.
Yeah, but you know, like to me,
Was fun.
Thea and Tessa were both just like really good. I was never like I feel in a way Thea is almost like she's initially introduced. She's like the ultimate optimist, right? Like she's sort of like this person, this well, not person, but she's sort of this character who always sees the bright side to everything and is never, you know, I mean, she's missing her legs, but she seems like really kind of cool about it, right? Like and she's perpetually more happy and optimistic about everything than Deck is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a
And
good
that can
counterpoint.
be annoying, but I think it's meant to be somewhat annoying by design. Like, I mean, she kind of matures herself, becomes like less naive over the course of the movie.
And
Uh,
he's irritated by it too, Deck. Like that he's like
yeah,
begrudgingly
I,
like going
I,
along
I,
with it.
I feel like there's like that's a danger because like Peggy Hill's annoying, but I find Peggy Hill funny, and I like every time she's around, like this is a funny joke. And then like yeah, I get that she's intentionally annoying to Deck as well, but the jokes themselves aren't good either. I don't think. I wasn't laughing at how the awkwardness situation. Like this is just a bad joke, man. Why would
But
you even?
it made sense to me from a character
Yeah, no,
standpoint.
it
Like
makes sense for the character. It's the
those were
writing. Again, I like the
though that
character
wasn't the
concept.
humor that bothered me really with her. Like I to me, she's like a less annoying C3PO. Like if C3PO was hot and less annoying.
I don't like C3PO that much either. So I guess it's a matter of taste then. Because like I
Uh,
can cut C3PO out of those movies. I wouldn't mind either. I wouldn't.
You said you'd
poor,
cut
poor
C3PO out
3PO.
of those
Yeah,
movies.
getting. I mean, sorry, but R2D2 is more wittier and only does the beeping.
I
Okay.
mean, he's a star for sure, but he needs a part.
Yeah,
You can't have Laurel without Hardy. You got to have like
you can't.
you
No.
just have
If
one of them. It's
If
really
Hardy
weird.
wasn't bringing it, then maybe. Okay, I'm sorry, but C3PO does not bring it for me. He does not bring
Oh,
it.
poor three. No, three PO deserves more respect than that. Come on. I mean, the droids are like the main characters in the first movie. You know, you can't have that first movie without 3PO. I'm sorry, you just can't. But you know, with Thea, I would say also, I feel like on some level she is also a stand-in for Predator fans herself. You know,
Hmm.
it's like because she spends like a good deal of the I don't know, like the first I don't know, like the first act, basically asking Deck all these questions about, you know, wait a minute, so how do yaoja work anyway? Do you chew like with your inner teeth or like your outer
Where'd you get
mandibles
that
or
sword from? Like it's just like all the stuff we would be asking about the Predator lore. Also, I know that that's their name. They're called Yamcha. I feel like they say it way too many times. Like we could have found a way to streamline that or come up with some nickname where we're not saying we say Yamcha a lot.
well, I think though that's interesting because I don't believe they've ever been called
No, they
Yaocha,
haven't.
yeah, before,
That's a
right?
comic
So
book thing.
So
yeah,
they're really
exactly.
trying to hammer it home to make sure like the general
Uh,
audiences know like hey, this is what they're called. We're going forward. We're going to reference this, so you better know.
It's very fanboy, but like at least that's the least annoying fanboy thing in any of Trachtenberg stuff so far. I don't mind it, but it does feel like when they started making Xenomorph a thing, like I hate Xenomorph as like a title for those aliens because it just means alien, but like longer.
Oh,
It's
and
just
I just want to say what you brought up the xenomorph. I let's give a round of applause that there are no xenomorphs in this because I like got worried when Wayland Yutani was like we're hunting the bioweapon and I'm like
okay,
no.
okay, but let's bring it up. I want to compound on that because like halfway through, I'm like, I was like saying, you know what? They should just made this like a black goo planet and had a xenomorph on it because there's no way the Alien vs. Predator movie is gonna be as good as this is. They should just done it, and then we could have gone a good AVP movie, and then we moved on. Because I can now this is good. I'm like, okay, wait, so the AVP movie is gonna have some killer of killers or rhymeless bullshit in it, and that's still gonna be a threat on the horizon, quality wise. They should have done it here. I want to like then make this AVP movie, and that's it. You're good. We got it. It's good. We can move past it, but no. So I agree, but also they should have done it. They should have just done it.
Yeah, I see that argument. I just like because like even I was worried about the Wayland Nutani of it all, even though they've been referenced in the franchise before. I was like, let's let this be its own thing, and it is like it's still Deck's story, so like everything is in service of that. So like finding out that they're hunting the same thing as him, like okay, that makes narrative sense. Like that's that's just a good storytelling that it had that conflict where it's like, well, both of them can't have this trophy, so there's going to be some kind of conflict now between them, and but it all served his story. Did feel like it was building out anything, like the pieces are in place that they can now bring back these characters or things in an AVP movie. Although it's like, will AVP, I guess they probably will just use a deck, but I remember seeing Trachtenberg say like, this is the farthest that we've gone in either universe. But I'm like, was that the most interesting setting for AVP? But also we already did one set modern day, and I like don't love those. So like maybe let's just go to the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just to give them runway, really, because like what they want is like a between one or sequels to Killers and thing like that. I guess like they don't. I think if they want to do AVP, they want that to be like as far removed of whatever else they want to do with either franchise. So obviously, if they do AVP and they really are trying to make these more intertwined now, which I think is a big mistake anyway, but they're trying to do that. So if you want to set it up, you kind of have to make sure that you don't impede anything else
stepping
going
on each other's toes. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so can I just say something? So here, there's an interesting debate, if you will, right now that's happening, or that sort of started, a low trickle on Twitter about the timeline of this movie. Because on the one hand, they say this is the farthest, that it has gone in the future, blah, blah, blah. But, previously, the movie that was, I think, the farthest in the future was Alien Resurrection, right? And there they established that, like, oh, yeah, Weyland-Yutani went down decades ago. And I could swear and I could swear there was a line even in the theatrical cut of the movie that I saw in Russia in 1997, where they said it was bought out by Walmart. Like I could swear I remember that line being in there, although now apparently it was only ever in the extended cut, which came out in the 2004s.
Did you rewatch the theatrical cut?
Yeah, I did, and it's like not there, but I could have sworn it was. Yeah, I could have sworn
Mandela
it was
effect.
In
they changed it.
It might be, or maybe it was in international markets, whatever. But all right. Anyway, that aside, so the question is, well, wait a minute. So what is the timeline here exactly? Because so presumably this is then before Weyland-Yutani went under, right? So it's
or
not
they just
really
came back. Another company took over their assets and decided, hey, we like the evil name and branding. Let's go back to that.
But they're also like, they've got Mother, they've got like the whole building.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't matter because every Predator movie contradicts every other Predator movie.
Predator is pretty loosey goosey, especially with the like alien-y stuff in it. So like I feel like once we start like Elvis said, like if we start intertwining these things like too closely, it could be a mistake, because then we're going to start stepping on each other's toes with that kind of stuff. Whereas if you keep it loosey goosey, keep it far removed from like any of the main stuff, then you can be like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. It's in the future. you don't have to get too specific about it. But I to me, that's not hard to headcanon of like, yeah, I don't know. The Weyland-Yutani's back. They brought back the branding, even with all the Mother stuff. That's just branding. So they brought it all back.
I mean, like even you have Alien Earth, which we haven't talked about, and we need to talk about that in the future. It's just basically like these are the utensils of the formula now, which I think is a huge mistake. I feel like that's devaluing Alien. I think the alien side of these things is going to just keep getting dragged under and under in terms of like, we want to formalize the look and the feel and the essentials of Alien. And I feel like that's just lame. That's just making it so gimmicky. But yeah, Mother stuff, like the way the outfits and uniforms look, it's all becoming standardized. And it's fine, whatever, for Predator stuff. But I don't really care about it. It's nothing that interests me. Like, how does it connect? It doesn't matter. Get rid of it. I don't get rid of it. Keep it. Who cares? It's not interesting to me at all.
Just to expand a little bit on the Mother thing here, though, I would say the way that they use Mother is, in my opinion, very clever, because again, they are creating these parallels, right? About family. Like you have the father figure, on the Predator side, and here you have the mother figure on the Android side. And again, like you have these, children who are basically torn between their loyalties, right? Like, is your loyalty to your sibling or to your, to your oppressive parental figure, right?
Mhm.
So in my mind, it's like, oh yeah, it's very fitting the way that they incorporate mother here. Like, I always saw that, like, to me that makes sense story wise rather than on the, kind of like meta macro franchise level. Additionally, I would say I actually found that Wayland Yutani's aesthetic here is kind of different though than what we've seen in the Alien films. Like, I didn't, they didn't do the, like the, I guess I would call it like the Alien House style portrayal, where they take the '70s look of the first movie and
It's
try
more
to just,
Prometheus-y.
yeah, it is, but also it feels kind of, it feels kind of in and of itself, right? Like, just like the way they even portray the synths here, like, I mean, like the synthetics here seem to be, like, I mean, these are like military grade,
Undercooked.
like well, no, no, no. Actually, here's the thing. They're military grade, right? And the movie actually saves a lot of money, I think, by having them all be synthetics. Like, like, you don't need a huge cast for this movie. Like, this film has, I think, maybe six, like seven actors, and they have like multiple roles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, but also just the way that they portray the synthetics here, it's like, well, they're not, it's so I don't know, like I think, like, they established in Alien Covenant, right? Like, that the synths now are able of self regeneration and whatever, and here it's like they're kind of like more limited, and they have, and their ability to have like personalities and sort of the way that they relate to each other. It's kind of also, it feels like a distinct take on that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really care about the alien stuff on this. I kind of tried to ignore it.
Well, to me, it works because of what you said, that it is in service of Deck's story of creating those parallels. Because it could just be any company. Like, the only reason that they make it Wayland Yutani is like, okay, yes, that they exist in this universe because it's a shared thing, whatever. But like, there isn't like Wayland Yutani specific stuff really happening other than, yeah, you have Mother, there's synthetics, and they're collecting bioweapons. But like, you can surmise that any company that's around in this universe, especially this long in, is like, yeah, that's the game. You gotta get some bioweapons.
Yeah, I mean, it really does make them feel like more of a like a general presence, like a stock presence. And again, that's not out of the ordinary. That's what they did with AVP. It's what they did with AVPR. It's fine. It's what this franchise, Predator in particular, is. It's part of the Predator fabric. So I'm not. It doesn't sway me too much. I'm glad overall there wasn't like more tie-ins to Xenomorph stuff. But overall, as I mentioned, this was just so good on its own. Some tweaks there, make it AVP. I mean, that would have been good. I do not have that much hope for the eventual AVP movie.
I kind of just don't need to see a xenomorph for a while. I
I
was thinking
know.
that after Alien Earth, where I was like, unless Ridley Scott comes back and has something that he actually directs that's some interesting take, I'm like, let's just do, because that's the best stuff in Alien Earth, is when it's anything but the xenomorph, and then the xenomorph shows up. I'm like, oh god, we
Yeah, it's a slog
gotta get
now.
this guy.
It's a slug. It's becoming too generic. Meanwhile, Predator was always generic, so the stuff that makes it interesting always pops out. But when you notice it more in alien stuff, when like, okay, now we're just got someone's like, okay, and let's just put plot point A back into here. Like, come on, you do something more lively.
Bring
Predator, I
back
think it
engineers.
had, yeah, yeah. Well, not that way though. Oh my god, God, Romulus sucked. Anyway, I hated it. Someone's like, "Oh my god, why don't you want AVP movie?" Someone said to me, "Don't you know that like Predator and Alien are both in a great place?" Like, God, no, it's not. Come on, shut up, dude. Anyway, so let's get back into Badlands more specifically. So, Badlands is a coming of age story of Deck, a run to the litter predator who is basically cast aside and set this execution or culling by his father, but he's saved by the sacrifice of his older brother, who saved the life of in an undisclosed incident, and and who decides to give him a chance out there to prove himself in the hunt, and saves his life at the cost of his own. And he lands on a planet, the titular Badland, a world of hurt, as one of the posters say, and I think that's a really great poster. So basically, it's black goo planet all but name. Everything is there is metamorphic, mutagenic, trying to kill you in every which way possible, and it is a great setting to drop this kind of character in. So like, what is he made of? What's a predator coming of age story look like? And we get it here, and he's joined by a robotic sidekick played by Elle Fanning, known as Thea, and a cuddly little critter monkey named Bud.
Bud wasn't in any of the marketing, right?
No, it was very kept secret.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, oh yeah, I did not know there was a Baby Yoda in this.
Yeah, there's a monkey here. Yeah, but yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. What gave me more points? I want to bring it up now, is that when they started mentioning things, the animal motifs of this film. And just bring back the AVP stuff, which I didn't want, but there's 1% chance I do want it, because this basically gives us, in its own kind of way, like the long-awaited origin story of what the best predators on screen ever. Wolf from AVPR, because it basically becomes his origin story. And they make the whole big deal of him being like a wolf, and he calls himself a wolf once, and Wolf from AVPR and Wolf from Deck here in Predator Badlands, they both have a missing fang, So I feel like it is very much a reference to him, and I feel like if they do make an AVP movie, I think Deck, especially if we're planning on developing a story, showing him, get in more into things, and especially if Elle Fanning and Wayland Yutani stick around, especially since they're probably going to be really butthurt about him destroying their base and stealing their catch. Might even be more of an antagonistic presence. He make the most sense to be the lead in an AVP movie. If we're following him, since we have a good chance of knowing him. Similar to like Scar or Wolf from the first one. I think Wolf is a fan favorite. AVPR, not a well-regarded movie, but if people hate it, they love Wolf. And so I'm glad that this guy is carrying the name on.
I still haven't seen AVPR. I only saw the first AVP.
Wolf is cool. Watch it. He's worth it.
Okay. Well, maybe I should wait till isn't the editor working on like a better lit version where you can
the regrade? Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that happens.
Hopefully, I really, for one thing, Liam O'Donnell is, at least that's who I believe is working on it, or maybe he was the VFX supervisor on that. But I remember seeing those images, and I'm just like, oh my god, this looks so much better than what ended up in the movie. And that film, in my opinion, always had some potential. I remember. Actually, I remember liking Alien versus Predator. I thought it was kind of mid, but in a good way, And then AVPR, I thought was supposed to be better. They got the R rating back, and they were gonna make it way more gory. But then, it came out and it was kind of an underlit mess. But
all I'll say is that if you could see what was going on, it'd be a lot better regarded. For me, I would think, because you have to deal with on the outset that it's like a 30% like a teen slasher movie, because oh my god, these partying teenage kids they're in summer on the cusp of going to college. There's that dorky kid he loves with the popular chick. There's a bully.
Never thought of that.
And there's like a bully on his case, you want my girl, man? Oh, I'm gonna bully you, and you're a pizza delivery boy. It's so cliche, it's so stupid, and you have to deal with that. But everything else, really cool. Everything else is cruel, bitter. It's like the darkest Predator. It's like the closest in cruelness to like an Alien movie. It's so cruel.
So here's the thing. I remember watching that, and I thought they were riffing on Return of the Living Dead. Especially because I don't want to spoil the ending for you, Doug, but if you've seen Return of the Living Dead, it's like yeah, it's like basically the movie ends with, I think, the entire town getting because it is already set on Earth, and they have this whole thing where everybody dies. I think except maybe
it's unstoppable. It becomes unstoppable. Yeah. It's again, I feel like people would like it more if they could see, because a lot of cool shit happens. A lot of horrific, disgusting shit happens.
It was very mean-spirited, right? And maybe on some level it was supposed to be a bit of a dark comedy in a way, but didn't quite, where. But again, you watch even the movies that didn't quite work, and then you see the potential there. And I always thought like, yeah, like I would be interested in seeing the regrade of that. I thought like the fact that they had a predator cleaner, and that's who Wolf is. He's like he's like a lean, mean cleaner guy who comes to Earth, presumably, I think like to wipe out all the xenomorphs or something.
He's like the
And for,
he's like the Django vet of the series. Like there, he's a professional kind of guy, man.
yeah, and yeah, and he was pretty cool. Although he also skins people and leaves their skeletons behind for no reason. But
Well, that's just their culture, okay? So I'd be more sensitive to that. You know? That's just how they live.
I mean, come on, did New Wolf have to rip out Tessa's spine? What was the point? Or start carry it with him? I know that their buddy did it.
It's a trophy, isn't it? You know, like I mean, got to keep the trophy and the skull and everything. I mean, that's like
it's the whole point of the hunt. You gotta get your trophy. Which also it interestingly like recontextualizes some of the other like I'm not assuming that every predator we see has this kind of emotional pathos behind their hunt, but it kind of gives the idea of the stakes of like because before I kind of get the sense in some of the other predator movies like, oh, is this just kind of like vacation to them? They just travel to another planet and hunt for fun. But it's almost now after Badlands, it's like, no, it's kind of like a hunt or die thing. Like if they don't come back successfully, then they're like their clans, these clans have a very I mean, that seems like that's probably a pretty common thing in these clans that they don't have a high tolerance for like failure, you know. So it's like if you come back from your hunt unsuccessfully, you may as well just not come back.
I think that's a great point. And I would also say that that to me is part of, this kind of, I don't know, this inter-film discourse that's happening with Badlands. Like, Badlands is the movie that really demystifies the predators. It's like the movie that really starts to develop them
They
as
have
characters.
conversations now.
Yeah, they actually speak like extensively, right?
They,
There's like
they live, they love, they do predator stuff.
But they don't love
yeah.
enough. I wanted some interspecies romance, but that's I'll wait for sequels. We'll
Hey,
see.
I know, there's something's gotta give, okay? But there's things happen when when stars are back together. Okay, you don't know what's going on that ship, how long it took them to get back there. Bud grew like 50 feet, so
Yeah,
something
some
happened.
time passed. Something happened.
They're pretty chummy. They were holding hands off screen. You know it.
Yeah, like, and I think like the idea there is that Deck has leveled up a few more. I can imagine him just sticking around on that planet to like hone his skills and like his abilities, right? So he comes back, he's like tougher, he's like more confident.
He updated his Baraka thing even more. Like before, like it was just like sticking out, but now he made it into like a really refined thing. That takes time, man. That takes time to whittle.
Yeah, there's no
glass.
title card that says like several years or parsecs later or whatever. How long it took him to get back home. So like he could have easily done some basically a predator version of hyperbolic time chamber of like, yeah, I'm just gonna train here for a little bit and then go back home and face my dad.
Again, it takes time. I do wish that he had kept the nature armor. That's a fucking great look.
We don't know. He might just have it on the ship. You know what I'm saying?
It's very useful. It's very useful.
Yeah, I'm like, well, he needed time though to repair the ship. I mean, you remember like the ship was like destroyed.
Oh my
I think,
god,
like,
you're
twice
right.
over.
You're right.
It was not flyable in its state. Yeah.
No, not at all. So
no.
Yeah.
All right. But let's move into maybe some chronological stuff while we think of more stuff to say. So yeah, the opening scene is Deck and his brother having like this kind of like initiation just to prove he's been ready to go on a hunt. I think that was really cool. It's great kind of like predator versus predator stuff that we don't usually see. It's very rare. I think the last time we saw something like full-fledged was like in the Predator, not really. The Predator one lasted like maybe like 3 seconds. It was a gag. That movie sucked. And it's really well done. It's really well handled. I think it does a good job of like saying, okay, this is a protagonist predator without being too generic about it. It does give them give both characters, Deck and his brother Quay, a good introduction. It really does set them up and give you their whole personality. Like it's really fun, really fun stuff.
Can I just say that I love the way that those scenes are shot? Like, you see
Yes.
those great, like you see those landscapes and everything, like a guy like traveling across the desert. It's very Star Warsy kind of Dune stuff. Like that, the music, like that kind of, I don't know, rhythmic chanting or whatever it is, right? It really sets the mood for a kind of mythic hero's journey right there, right? Like, I mean, he goes into a cave and right, like, and they have that they have that duel, which unfortunately I could barely see in the theater.
Oh, that
um
sucks because it was cool.
yeah, yeah, but it looked cool. I was I mean, what I could glimpse of it looked really cool, but I just love the way that they shoot it. Like, you watch these films by Trachtenberg and you can see there is a kind of you can see the inspiration that he takes from more, I guess, what you might say, what you could call like artsy films, right? Like, I mean, he's definitely inspired by Terrence Malick here. I think it was there was some David Lean, inspiration with like all of the, in the cinematography and the choice of, shooting and composition. Um, and yeah, it was just like really, watching that was breathtaking, even though I wasn't like seeing it in IMAX. I also think it's interesting how that fight scene, the way that the predators can move in this movie, and I think that's in part thanks to CGI and everything, right? They can really move. They can move like a lot faster, than they used to be. Like, you look at the first two Predator films, and the Predators are kind of slow and bulky in that one, right? I think they're kind of
Right.
restricted movement wise, because of all the like prosthetic effects in here. And here you watch this duel and it's like, yeah, you could not make this duel in 1987 or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of moments, especially during the action, where I was like, "This feels very video gamey," but in a good way. Because sometimes when I say something feels video gamey, I mean like the action feels detached from anything real. But this felt video gamey in the way of like that. It's able to capture that kind of pure imagination of what would these predators fighting each other be that we couldn't really see before.
Yeah, I mean, it's tactile. It's kinetic. I think that really helps. That again, it sells what you're kind of in for. Like, it doesn't like pull any breaks. It doesn't like strip it down. It just goes. It just kind of, especially since it's gonna take a while to get to something like that as well. It kind of gives you what you're kind of hoping for right off the bat. Because then again, we get something stripped down later, and that's my favorite bit. When when he gets to the planet, Jenna, it's called, I believe.
It's kind of like a
Um,
Metroid opening, where Samus gets injured and then she loses her upgrade and then
everything.
has to. Yeah, this is a Metroid movie.
It is, and
uh,
that's just very good because it's like yeah, I got all this stuff. I got my grenades, I got my pauldron, I've got my mines, all of that, and then he just loses all of them all at once. It's great. It's so good. It's so good.
I was
And then,
really disappointed that he loses the bow. Like, I mean, I really wanted to see the bow used more, but it's like
Looks
gone very quickly.
cool. Yeah, maybe
it
it
But
would
I
have
looks
will
been
also
cool.
too OP.
say, look, I will say in terms of video games, what this actually reminded me of a lot were the new God of War games. When
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah, because you start like with Kratos basically losing all of his god power. Like, each game has to nerf him like that.
Hmm.
And then he has to like build his arsenal back up, but also, Deck is kind of Kratos like, right? Like, I mean, he's sort of like
Very
he's kind of,
cold and distant.
yeah, kind of grumpy, doesn't want to open up. Like, there's a whole warrior culture there, and like, I guess, like a fear of being vulnerable, or stuff like that. Like, it really, like, I'm thinking, man, maybe some of those campfire scenes were inspired by God of War and God of War Ragnarok.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think Trachtenberg's admitted to some game influence. Like, you could see, like, when he's taking down that rhino thing, that felt very Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
Like
Yes.
that felt straight out of that.
there's very like attack the weak point until it dies, kind
The
of
weak point
fights
that's
here.
on top of it. Like, you have to do
On
some
top
Exactly.
of the
platforming to
head.
get to it.
You have to. Yeah, it has a pattern of how it uses it. You gotta wait for the right moment. It's very clean like that. But again, you want to keep these things moving. You want to keep the momentum up. So it's good to be like, oh, we're not gonna drag this fight out. You know exactly what he needs to do. How is he gonna do it? You know, what's the tactic here? And I think it's really clever. It keeps things, with a nice high energy. You don't feel things that drag. That's good. I thought like this movie's almost over. It's like it was like an hour and 50, and it's almost over. That's crazy.
Yeah, it breezes by. I also do like the conceit of having a character that cannot, I mean, for like pride reasons and also just his culture, like he cannot back down from any fight. So like even when Thea's like, no, we need to run. He's like the repeated gag of like, you gave up too easily. And it's like, no, he's gonna work this out somehow. Like there's like gonna be some kind of on the moment of fighting problem solving as he like figures out what to do, or as we introduce like, because I thought it was just gonna be a two-hander. I didn't realize this was almost like I mean it's just one additional in addition to that, but it was like, oh, this is like a little bit like an RPG, like they have a little party here. So like that as we build that out through these encounters, I thought that was like you're continuing the arcs of these characters through action, so which is always appreciated in these kind of movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like, speaking of of Thea, after Dex, really horrible encounter with the killer vines, which was very Skull Island. I saw someone bring up Skull Island as a comparison, and like, no, this is like actually good Skull Island, and not like terrible Skull Island like the movie. Because this is like classic Skull Island where there's a bunch of variety of things that want to kill you. And not like, oh, here's like one small thing that's not that interesting. Everything wants to get. That's why I thought this like be so easy to reconfigure as a black goo kind of planet, because everything is so
black goo there. We don't know.
Yeah, it could have been. Some engineer.
Please, no black goo. I'm so tired.
Black goo rocks.
I'm so tired of the black. It can do
like
rocks. Anything. I mean,
the black goo
it's
rocks.
just like
yeah,
there's no.
Rock. It's a clone blood of a god.
At all.
It's a clone blood of a god. Okay, it's a cloned blood of a god. It is
cloned blood of a god or a deacon or the engineer or somehow it's reverse engineers.
The engineers cloned. Okay, whatever. It's cool. It's cool stuff. All right.
I like the goo.
Yeah, everyone loves the goo. The goo.
Everyone loves it.
Oh, anyway, no, like so, I love that verb to it. It made it feel a lot more peppy, a lot more exciting, and then so he immediately beefs it again. Not like a couple of minutes later, not like 2 minutes later, he immediately beefs it again. And Elle Fanning, he finds tied up in a tree, and he's like, and they partner up to make sure he doesn't die immediately, and again, we saw like showing character arc through action. Well, part of Elle Fanning's whole thing is that she, is empathetic. She's sort of like a pacifistic, but like she's been sheltered, and so you feel like, and especially later on when she meets up with her sister twin, right? It's like you need protecting, and that means that you're weak and all of that. But she's never been weak. Now she's never been given opportunity. She's always, whenever she's given the opportunity to show that she can take care of herself, she always does, and it's great stuff. It's subtle for something like this to show like, okay, we understand that she's never really been weak, just that was her programming that kept her, she was meant to be an indoor synth, but that doesn't mean she can't.
You get the sense that the male synths are like, those are the commandos, and then the female ones are like the scientists. You like that they're like, those are the ones who are studying and collecting the samples, and then the guys are the ones with the guns. Although we do see Tessa like lighting shit up with a gun. So she's perfectly capable of fighting. Like they can fight. It's not like it's only one or the other. It's just, it seems like the primary function wasn't like that they're the field soldiers.
Tessa, though, I think is established very much as like a badass, right? Like, I mean, from her early like they kind of give her a gnarly little facial scar, and then like the first time you see her, there's that whole sequence where the vines attack and she just actively destroys them with
annihilates them.
Yeah, like, I mean, with her physical strength, like a load. I mean, that to me it's interesting because, yeah, like we never get a clear sense of a hierarchy there, or at least in terms of Thea's place in that hierarchy, because it seems like
Tessa's the one who answers to Mother. So you're like, so she's in charge of the mission then. Like, if that's whoever talks to Mother is like the top dog,
right.
Usually.
Right. But it seems like, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of like where Thea stands in relation to that, it's kind of kept a little vague there, I think, because I mean, because they're supposed to be special, like they're the only two members of this model type, right? Whereas all the other ones are basically like, they're like foot soldiers.
Right.
But at the same time, like Thea apparently is lower rank or something. So it almost feels like as though Thea maybe was supposed to be the only like indoor scientist kind of type. Like she says, like I finally got to go outside and then this happened or something.
Right, the fact that she's been out this long is like off mission, like she just was not designed for those kind of encounters, even though she is perfectly capable, like even with half a body. And the cool scene later where both halves working in tandem is so awesome. But the yeah, I think that it is intentionally nebulous, and maybe just to have that parallel emotionally between her and Deck of like she is the runt of her family, like that they're not sure what to do with it. Like, yeah, you're the special model, you're more sensitive, and that gives you this advantage in terms of exploiting the environment, but also are you maybe a liability? So like, yeah, so maybe she's not usually let outside that much, because like she's maybe seen as more vulnerable or naive, whereas Tessa seems to have none of those weaknesses.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I want to bring up cool parallel I just remembered as well as here because yeah, Deck is the runt, but his brother Quay protects him and respects him because they mentioned at some point that Quay was in a situation where he almost died and Deck did something to save his life. We don't I don't think we ever find out what happened there. Maybe in a sequel we get a flashback or something. That'd be cool. But and then you have Tessa and Thea where I guess they had a really good relationship, and I guess it was good enough for Tessa to be like, let's bring her along, because I love her so much. And then they get in a situation where Tessa almost dies, and Thea really can't do anything to help her, and so she's like, and she mentions like, we did this once, and it was a huge mistake, and so we're gonna decommission you. So like, it kind of makes it seem like, okay, would things have been different? Very likely, if Deck, if and his brother, if Deck hadn't shown his brother that he can handle himself, you know.
Right, his brother just would have gone along with his dad. Like, all right, well, sorry, bro, it's time to call the week.
Because he knows he can do it, and I think that it's difficult. They're both binary, very controlled societies. There, these synths and the relationship with Mother and Wayland Yutani, and then of course Predator. So it's good parallels, I think, the relationships and the dynamics. If you don't know, maybe they're lucky. You're lucky sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. That I like the parallels between them. I think it's cool how these arcs, without being overly showy, like are very efficient in conveying the emotional journey these characters go on. I wish we had more context for Tessa specifically. I guess that's like when we're talking about the dual performance. I definitely enjoyed my time with Thea more. I mean, she's just a cooler to hang, even if I know you don't like her humor, but obviously if you're gonna pick one of the sisters, like you want to hang out with Tessa.
Yeah, of
But
course.
but Tessa, I wish I had more context for, yeah, like what has been what has this dynamic been before, and like has there been times where she's had to stick her neck out for Thea? So maybe this time of her finally being like, yeah, box her up, where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna put up with your shit anymore. Like that it almost felt like that's what is
Yeah.
being implied in the sense we get. I just wish I don't even know what the solve is for that, because I'm not saying like add a lengthy like flashback into it. I do like the economy of the story that we're we're in and out with pretty quickly with a lot of this. So yeah, it's not even really a complaint. It's just something. It's me just wanting more of something that I found interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think it works as well as dub because they're synthetic models. So you have built-in ideas of like what it means like to honor programming. So it doesn't really make them less interesting. It doesn't make Tessa less interesting character to be like, okay, we're thinking about this very strictly, and you do kind of see some innerish conflict, but again, they're robots, so it's hard to say like where that ends. I think Walter, obviously, the dynamic between Walter and David is the easiest point of comparison here, because Walter, he was also meant to be like, well, David initially was also meant to be like a more emotional, more sensitive android, and then that went haywire. So they made Walter less
Walter
sensitive.
rolls that back,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But Walter has a lot more respect and grace toward humanity that David doesn't, and so like it feels like a bit more a flip side of that, where like sensitivity makes you stronger and empathetic, more empathetic of that nature, and so it's good. Again, it's good to see that kind of done well again enough. Meanwhile, you have something like Romulus. Just bring Romulus back into this, where it's like, hey, we're gonna have like a good on and off switch instead
You
of a
got the
character arc.
evil switch turned on. It's like,
I'm sorry. Is Andy like a really kind of racist character? I mean, he's like a prop. He's like a prop man.
I
He had
mean,
no
I like that actor. It's just like they totally waste that whole concept of having the synthetic foster brother, and even like
He had no character arc.
even if they did a redo of some of Covenant where there's like another model of him, because that would be better than bringing back I guess it's not Ash, whatever, it's the same face for some reason.
Ian Holm, it was like, I
It should have been
remember
just another
watching
Andy.
that.
Yeah.
I like to bring up this thing where, how there is a scene in the first Alien movie where they're talking to Ash's head, like they have to reactivate his head. And it's like the movie cuts around it in such a way that, first there's the prop Ash head, and then they cut to Ian Holm under a desk or something. And I like to say this. I think that I would like to say that the way that they portrayed Ash there was less distracting. I mean, even if you could tell that they switched from a prop head to Ian Holm between shots, it was far less distracting than what they do with Ian Holm's face in Romulus. Like that whole thing there was, to me, just like, oh my God, why?
It looks, and yeah, just from like a tech standpoint, it looks bad. Like it's like getting an Ian Holm lookalike would have been even better. Like kind of like,
just have his face destroyed and just
or just do a different synthetic.
Like, just have Andy, or just have it be Andy, another Andy
that
android.
Makes more sense thematically, because then
it's called Romulus.
Right, that's the myth, is the brothers,
twins,
right?
Like, yeah, twins.
They're literally twins.
Oh God, Romulus is such a stupid movie. And this again, and you had it done before. You already had it done before. Anyway, better done here when in terms of character, because you can see like what their programming means to them. That's like their version of the soul. Does it mean that you have to be overly loyal, or does it mean that you follow where that leads you logically or circumstantially? And again, I think that's why Tessa and Thea work for me overall. I love the character concept. I don't like the humor, but I like the character concepts. I like the dynamics. I think that all really works.
I really found it interesting how neither of them have ever considered the idea that they are sisters. That was until Deck points out that, oh, so she's your sister. And she's like, oh my God, you're right. I actually have a sister, right? Huh. Yeah, and I really like that. It's interesting how he is breaking her out of her traditional mode of thinking, right? And he can do that because he's an outsider, right? And it seems to be something that, and I love the way Elle Fanning plays it, because like even when Tessa like first hears about that, it also, you can almost see like there's a kind of, like her gears are turning.
She starts to tear up. Starts to tear up a little bit. I noticed that.
Yeah,
IMAX, she started to tear up, and then like you can literally see. I don't know if it was CGI or something, where she's that great an actress. The welling in the eyes just dries up when she's like, "No, we're boxing you."
Yeah.
My impression was always that maybe the idea was there that Thea was always a little too much, maybe like that, like she says like, you're broken, and I took that to mean that maybe on some level Tessa believed that Thea was always broken. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe she was always a little too, like too emotional, or too, what do you call it? Like like too
sensitive
sensitive or whatever. Yeah.
and pathetic. Yeah.
which made her liability. But and this is the time that finally demonstrated, like, no, yeah, you are putting the mission at risk with your shit. So, like, we
You
got
almost died because I brought you along. Again, there's a bitterness there, and like, and no matter how like, oh, I'm being practical about this, I think she's bitter. I think she's vindictive.
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Uh,
There's it's personal. This
I
time
guess,
it's personal.
which makes it sad. I think so. Again, love all that stuff, but it's just so much. It's so much to me. Like again, I think I mentioned off recording, but it's like the Peggy Hill thing. Where like Peggy Hill, I think is like sometimes too much, but there's a real fine line between something that's enjoyably annoying and then like, oh, this is
hmm.
actually legitimately annoying. So when people say like they don't like the humor of this one, and people are like, well, they always had really bad jokes. Like, yeah, they do. I'm not gonna detract it too much from that. Um, but again, that doesn't mean that this humor we can ignore it as a criticism. You'd be like, oh, you don't like that, it's jokey, but what about to point to stuff from Predator 2 and 1 and Prey and all that? Like,
No, I think it's
yeah,
valid to call out. I mean,
yeah,
because if someone told me they didn't like the humor in the first one, even though I love that movie, I'd be like, you know what, that's fair. Like
yeah,
I could see that not being for everybody.
yeah.
I don't necessarily remember the first movie being like all that fun. For me, a lot of the jokes there kind of
There's
fall flat.
one-liners.
There's lots
You
of
know,
quips
yeah,
in that way.
but at the same time, but like for me, the funniest thing in the first Predator movie is Sonny Landham's laugh. Like when that guy tells him a joke about his girlfriend, and like Billy starts. Like I don't know, it's the funniest laugh I have ever heard. And then the movie brings that back at the end, right? Like it makes it into like a really disturbing, creepy maniacal evil maniacal laughter when the Predator starts doing it at the end, right? Like that is
Using it back at him, yeah.
yeah, no, I mean that was amazing to me, but also just but that laugh was the funniest thing about the first Predator is what I'm saying. So that's the one joke that actually worked for me.
Me too. Um, all right, so here's we got a comment from ZR Lex Blackwood. As a Predator film, zero as a film 5 is just stuff we've seen done to death. I disagree. I don't know. Again, I feel like we haven't really seen much of this stuff in here from another Predator movie.
I
So I
mean,
feel
yeah,
like
if we're
No.
talking like every genre story ever, like yeah,
yeah,
in other high fantasy or even like I
I
don't
feel
know
like it
if
should be
like
reversed. And like as a
right,
regular film, yeah, not that incredible, but
but
as a
as
Predator
Predator,
film,
it's doing a lot
it's
of new
interesting.
stuff.
It does
Yeah,
mean a lot of new stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I feel the reverse there. But thanks for the comment if you're still around. Anyway, so moving ahead a little bit, so we have Deck and we have Thea, and they decided to pal up, and I love that how their dynamic begins. Where like, we can't accept any help. It's like, I'm not a person, I'm just a machine. So you using me is no different than using one of your gadgets. And so
I love that beat of him repeating "tool," right,
yeah,
and
like
then
he
also
convinced himself, like
and
I'm
then the
not
moment
cheating.
when he finds out that she's called backup, like there's legitimate betrayal. Like it's like a testament to just what we could render now with completely digital characters, that you can see that read that in an ugly Predator face of that the betrayal of when he's like, no, I use you, you do not use me, like that he is genuinely hurt by
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and again, it does inform a lot of the things that Elf Fanning Thea was doing, where like she keeps trying to talk him out of things because she knows, like, she's like from the beginning, like, okay, when we get there, I'm gonna help them capture it, So
And
if
she
if
was
she,
evasive about a lot of stuff about her mission, so that it made it like once you realize that they're hunting the same thing, you're like, okay, that makes sense. I was worried they were like mystery boxing it because it was going to be some xenomorph shit. And I was glad it wasn't. I was like, okay,
no,
good.
yeah. So I guess she was always hoping that he would change his mind about it. So it's fun stuff. But yeah, no, they team up, then they start walking around, and it becomes the Lion King a little bit, or something like that. Like
There should have been a musical number too.
they should have been. They should have been walking along all the vistas, and they're going across
I,
all all
wasn't it
Chekhov's guns.
wasn't it more like wait, but wasn't it a bit more like, I don't know, like Lone Wolf and Cub, or Demon Slayer or something? Because he has to
A
like
little bit.
carry her around, like he creates like a backpack essentially,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, it's good stuff.
yeah, I mean, to me, like, yeah, that's definitely anime manga influence right there, because they don't and I love the gag with her legs, like, right, like it's like a whole thing, like she can't, every time she tries to reunite with her legs, it's like
Something
yeah,
interrupts it.
yeah, exactly. Like that to me was like a really nice joke, and it becomes almost Reanimator-esque in its comedy, right? Like, I mean, at the end, because like she's basically still vivisected but able to operate all of her limbs independently. I mean,
That fight scene was incredible because it's
It was.
funny and the choreography is cool. And this is a movie where it's like the use of slow motion, like you could 100% just say like, yeah, there's a lot of hype moments in aura in this, but it's like, well, it works. Like whenever it's a slow motion shot of him, like when he ignites that thing to like to send out a signal for the callus, that and it goes into slow motion, and there's slow motion when the two halves of Thea are fighting. Like it just works. Like it didn't feel excessive, where sometimes a lot of slow motion or speed ramping in some action scenes are like, you're like this.
No, no,
But it
it's
here.
it's to hit the right beat, like whether or not it's a gag or a cool moment. Like it's not there just to extend something. It's there because the momentum demands it, and so you don't really notice. I didn't know slow motion because I'm just into that moment. I'm into that scene. It's carrying me along with it, and I think that the editing, the fight editing, the choreography on this is all really really fun, all really fun.
Yeah, it's a great looking movie
I
too.
just
Like,
kind of
yeah.
no, sorry, no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I didn't have much to say. I was saying it's a good looking movie, and there's just like images like going on with those slow motion shots that just kind of just look like splash pages, like from comics or something.
I didn't actually notice any slow motion. I'm gonna be honest about that. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Because I hardly noticed it because you're into it, you're locked in.
It
like
happened a
if
couple of times.
Yeah, a
And
couple of times.
it's not excessive or anything.
yeah, if Zack Snyder were the director of this movie, you would notice the slow motion.
And he's a guy where I find his stuff artistically interesting, and I will defend a good portion of it. But yeah, it gets
No, so would I. But I'm just saying it's
you notice
intriguing
it.
how yeah, like it's if it has slow mo, it doesn't fly in your face. Like for me, it was far more. I can see like the inspiration from again, like I mean, even the title, right, or the subtitle, Badlands. I mean, yeah, like Terrence Malick is right there, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I love how there is an emphasis on the nature of this place, on the environment, on the ecosystem, right? Like you get those shots. I think even in the like you get those cool landscape shots. You get the emphasis on right, like on all of these life forms consuming each other. Like you see the food chains and everything. Like I remember there was even like a long shot of the, I don't know, the environment, like you see the woods and you see a mountain and whatever. And I could swear there was some creature that was like
It's a
attached
big
to,
slug. It's a big
yeah,
slug.
yeah, probably that was the one. But it was like it was literally attached like to this mountain, to this cliffside, and you
Yeah.
see it like, I think, like swallowing a flying pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Exactly. It's like a big caterpillar slug thing. But like, so I want to bring up one thing because we've already talked about this bit already. But it's like an evil Pandora, like
Yeah.
Yes.
everything is in a harmony. And so, but it's a harmony of things that are just so they just only want to kill and feed, and it's just everything you see is just purposely built to kill something, but it's in harmony in a way. And then of course you get like Tessa and her synth minions. They just like they're like our RDA. There's
Just burn it down.
bulldozing, just burn it down. They're clearing paths. They're not in harmony with it. And so when Deck, when he comes into his own, because like he is a predator, like that's his thing. Like his coming of age is becoming a better killer. And so when he is able to find a niche, like a role within this ecosystem, it fits like a glove. You know,
And
he
he's
becomes an
using
art.
these things that have tried to kill him now against his enemies.
He's like,
I
yeah,
love that.
yeah, because like they're all killers, they're all killing things, and so is he. So he's able to like become one with the ecosystem. He's able to like become a part of that chain, and that's awesome, man. I mean, that makes perfect sense. It's like again, it's like evil Pandora, evil Avatar. It's right, it's amazing.
Okay,
Well, I wish
so
there was a game where I could explore this planet.
Oh, I'm willing to bet they're gonna make one actually if this movie is successful enough. Okay,
And it
but
is, yeah, yeah. It's just tie-in games used to come out with the movie or a couple of weeks beforehand, and then they would spoil part of the movie, but then also make up a lot of stuff. Like I kind of miss those days.
oh yeah, that's true. I think like the Riddick games though were kind of interesting in that regard because that's a whole other thing though. But actually, so here's what I want to say though about Deck going native, so to speak. And it's like a whole spiel I have. So if you so the original Predator, right, comes out in the mid 80s. I think it was what 87, right? And on some level, it was a post Vietnam War film. And one of the ideas that you see in a lot of post Vietnam War films is this notion that you have to kind of go back to the jungle, you have to win Vietnam symbolically after losing Vietnam, but also
Right.
you also have to adopt the guerrilla tactics of like the of the you know of the locals. Like you have to like your superior. The idea was that the Vietnamese defeated in a way, like they defeated the Americans, well, kind of sort of, because even though they had inferior technology, you know what I'm saying? They had like inferior firepower. And so that becomes like a whole, I think, running subtext in 1980s movies in particular. Like you have this notion of how you kind of have to tame nature. You have to go back to nature and become stronger so you can, you know, like overcome these technologically superior enemies, right? Like you can see that in, I don't know, even like a movie like Rocky 4, right? Like you have like the
Yeah,
evil
true.
Soviet Superman, right? Who's like filled with anabolic steroids and the latest in technology. And then you have like Rocky, like, you know, training in the mountains, you know, like lifting logs and like rocks and all that shit, right? So in Predator, especially, right? Like, how does Arnold ultimately defeat the Predator? He has to lose all of his gear, all of his like advanced firepower. It has to strip
He's
everything
got to go
down to
back
the
to basics.
yeah, exactly. Like, and make himself like primitive weapons and like use good old fashioned like camouflage made of mud, right, in order to defeat a technologically superior enemy, right? And so there was this idea then that the ones who have the superior technology, well, they're evil because they have not embraced nature. They reject nature. They're like, really, you know, so it's an interesting inversion here, right? You have
Because the
these,
Predator is usually positioned as that representation of that, especially
yes,
like I was rewatching Prey and the parallel between
yes,
the Predator and the French fur trappers of like, no, this is abhorrent what they're doing because they're not killing for sustenance or respecting the life of what they killed. They're just, you know, skinning these things and then just leaving the rest of it, you know, and that the Predator is cheating, you know, like he's fighting these noble warriors, but with the Comanche, but that he's, you know, has all these, he's got camo, he's got all this targeting
invisibility.
stuff, yeah. And I
Uh,
love that he has no cloak. Deck has no cloak until the very end of this. Like he has to earn that shit.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I think it's fascinating here how they completely invert the idea. Here it's Deck who has to, right? Like who loses all of his weaponry, has to, you know, like who has to use the planet. It's right, like he creates like an armor out of the bones of that bison or something, right? Like he kind of
Yeah.
gets like a shoulder cannon from one of those lizards that spit acid, right? And it's the synthetics who are literally, inorganic you know, technologically superior, you know, and they're the ones like who arm themselves with all of his weapon, with all his brother's weaponry to boot, right? So
Right.
it's fascinating how they bring that whole idea that's been running through 1980s films back here, but like in so I just feel that's like a brilliant I don't know, that's like a brilliant inversion of that, or that's like a brilliant take on that in this new context, you know. um So that to me was just quite impressive on that meta discourse level that it has, right? Like with the especially in relation to the first movie.
Yeah, no, I love that about it because I kind of went in not skeptical because yeah, I loved what Trachtenberg did with Prey, but I was just like, how are they going to get us invested in a predator POV? Are they not gonna even try? Like, what's the take gonna be? Is it just gonna be that these are cold killers, or you know, like you're gonna humanize them? What's the solution? And the solution is we're still doing the same kind of basic arc as these other movies, but it's just now one of a predator has to do it.
Yeah, no, I think, and I think that's interesting because I don't think like a lot of these movies up until Prey have had like a real arc kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you look at the first movie, and I mean, who's the character who has a real character arc? It's more
Because
like,
Arnie's not like it's not like
yeah,
an emotional arc. It's more just like he adapts. It's more
yeah,
about these characters adapting to the situation in terms of survival. But it's not like what is he? I mean, if anything, his my headcanon, he leaves there like traumatized for life, like very much like a Vietnam vet, where he's just like, I saw all my men got eviscerated by an alien, and now I will never be the same.
yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is, it's interesting how until Prey, you didn't really have a lot of that basic emotional, journey, meat and potato storytelling. I feel. I mean, a lot of it was, it was kind of like, kind of like, kind of like janky, kind of like, okay, well, yeah, they're here, they adapt, they like find a way, but not a lot of stuff character wise. And also to go back to what you were saying about the Predator and Prey cheating, like I legitimately think that the best Predator movie is the Comanche version of Prey, especially like you watch that one on Hulu, not on the Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray doesn't have the right subtitle track for it. But you
Oh,
watch that on
really?
Hulu.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
just watched I had never seen the Comanche version, and I watched that on Hulu before I saw Badlands, and yeah, it was great.
yeah. Well. So the thing is, yeah, like you watch that on Hulu, and they actually translate the passages of Comanche dialogue that are never translated in the English basic in the standard English version, and that to me is kind of great because you see what is actually being said in those passages, and like there's that moment where Tabe has a showdown with the Predator, and I remember seeing that, like and then the Predator turns invisible, right? Like, and then Tabe screams something in frustration. Now, when you watch the Comanche version, there's actually a translation, right? And he says cheater. Like he
Yes,
yells
yeah.
cheater out, and I was just, oh my god, that is so great. And I have no idea why they never
Yeah, it's
made
good.
that,
And
yeah,
it's a
made
good
that
it's a
clear.
good callback too, because then they one that says cheating son of a bitch once or some shit in one of these ones. Like they don't like it when they're like, come on, man, I was so close. You get that moment a lot of times in these movies. It's great because he was
Yeah.
close. He was close. Toppy's great. That's why I don't understand why. I think Trachtenberg, I think, might have said this when Prey came out. Like Tavi was reincarnated as the guy from Predator One. Like that makes no sense.
What?
That's lame.
No.
That,
Well,
that,
He's
that,
no, no,
that,
no,
that,
no.
that, that that's a fan theory or something. People
no,
said that.
he said that, I
Yeah,
think, where he
wait,
said
did he
like he was
literally? No,
reincarnated.
He said that.
I think he said that.
no, no,
It
no.
was in the
Wait.
article. I'm looking up
Okay,
right now.
okay, okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't remember him saying that. I remember for a long time. I remember though he definitely talked about how Tabe was inspired by Billy because there was a whole a thing about a Predator Billy fight that was rumored to have existed, but apparently was
They
never
scrapped it.
filmed. Well, it's not clear if it was ever meant to be there. Like maybe it was an idea that got kicked around, but there was like a
Right.
rumor for a long time that like there was more to what was there on the screen. Like Billy kind of was a wasted character in Predator, and that's like something that which was really weird because he seemed kind of cool. Like he had that supernatural sixth sense stuff going on, and you were expecting like a pretty cool fight between him and the Predator, and then it's like he just dies like in 3 seconds off screen. Right. So Trachtenberg also kind of reacted that way to it. And so Tabe was sort of like a way of almost like reacting to how the first movie wasted Billy. Like I got the sense of it. The first time I saw the movie, I got that sense of it. And then I found interviews which corroborated that. And yeah, anyway, but yeah, so to me, like when he yells like cheater, that's like a whole, that just works on so many levels, like right there, you know. But
Yeah, I don't need
yes,
him literally to be Billy though. That's
no,
I know.
I don't like that.
I there was an interview where he said that. I'm looking it up right now. I know it's on the fan wikis too. Where he
I
said it.
believe you. It's just like I'm like Trachtenberg. No, it's like
no,
like I
But again, like that's why so that's why I don't like stuff. Again, I like two of the things he's done, but a lot of things like I'm worried. I get worried. Like this should have been just AVP because I'm not sure how AVP is gonna go. There's lots of stupid
some
stuff that
directors just need to say less. Kind of like
well,
James Gunn.
well,
Like stop talking.
well, look, I would say unless it's on screen, it's not canon. Okay,
Right.
like
Yeah. What's it? The text is speaking, like what the director says. People say you're on those, promotional circuits for so long. That shit fries your brain. You don't know what you're saying half the time.
and ideas change. Ideas change like all the time. I mean, you know what? I actually tracked down like the Predator novelization. And it's interesting because there was way more myth lore stuff with Billy that never made it to the movie. Like, I mean, there was like a whole thing like where, yeah, like he started having visions of the past and he connects like to his ancestors. And like it turns out that he's actually psychic and maybe has some magic powers and everything. And so like he started like, before he was supposed to fight the Predator, he touches like his medicine pouch and he starts like some sort of chant or whatever. But then he still like dies very.
The novelization or who wrote?
Right, the novelization of the original.
Yeah, of the first Predator movie.
Wow, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous, but like I kind of felt like there was a whole thing about how like Billy realized that his ancestors had battled this thing. Like there was a whole thing like where I think they found some sort of ancient, maybe like the ruins of some temple or whatever, like something that was like something that was left over from an ancient time. And the moment he steps into this area, he has like a vision. Or whatever, like of the past, and he knows that this is a thing that his ancestors have battled before, or whatever. And that stuff was definitely in early script drafts for Predator, but ultimately, like a lot of it was just kind of, got kind of cut down. Like they cut down on Billy a lot, I would say, and that was ultimately for the better.
I would say simplifying for that one is probably the best, like because it's more about the idea of the scenario more than any particular character. Like it's not like that Arnold's the last one standing because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and he's the star of the movie, but like it's not like that Dutch's arc or anything is super important. Like so like giving any extra importance to either of these any of the characters' backstories might be like a little too much, especially since they're going to get disposed of so easily.
I don't know. I like what they are able to, what they were able to give them. I mean,
no, I'm saying I like it as is. Like I don't need that. That's the stuff you're talking about in the novelization. I'm like that sounds.
It's too load bearing.
It's the kind of goofy nonsense that I kind of like when I hear shit like that. I'm like, okay, well they are going for it, but I also it just would bog the movie down.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely attract way too much attention to itself. But at the same time, it was never, I would say it made the fact that Billy died so unceremoniously even worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I was already kind of disappointed by his death in the movie, but like reading the novelization parts of it, I was just like even more disappointed.
Like, there was some greater mystical purpose for him, and he's just like eviscerated. Oh, shit.
Exactly. But so I don't need him to, I don't need that connection between those two to exist. But I like the
there could just be the thematic
level of like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, damn, Prey is like amazing. I
had a blast rewatching it, and that's like probably the one. I don't know. Maybe I could get my dad into the first one, but it's not like a franchise that that shows you like franchise I could sit down and watch with my parents. But Prey is something probably specifically because of the native context of it all, and him finding like that aspect of history compelling. That like, yeah, this is like in conversation with it, even though it's a genre, it's a sci-fi movie about fighting an alien with dreadlocks, but it's also like it has like things to say about colonialism and shit.
It does, but I also think it's interesting how you read long before Prey came out. You read articles about Predator, and they talk about how hunting is inherently a male sport, or it's like a male, or it tends to be like a male associated activity in human society, right? Especially like big game hunting. You impose these artificial limitations on yourself. You go on a safari and you get trophies and stuff. And so the movie was kind of, intentionally or unintentionally immersed within that discourse. Now, you watch something like Prey, and here there seems to be like a direct conversation with that whole idea, right? It takes that notion of hunting as a male, as a male activity, right? Like, and gives that to a female character. Like, what does it mean to be a female hunter, right?
Right.
Like to have to put up like with this, to always be underestimated and invisible within a society where hunting is like paramount, like it's a part of your existence, right? Like I thought that was kind of like, I just feel like that the conversation that movie has, especially with the whole notion of hunting as a male sport, and with the first two films, is fascinating in and of itself.
Yeah, I think it is fascinating. And to McTiernan and whoever the other screenwriters of the first one is, I think there is an intentional commentary on that kind of like masculinity and machismo of it, because it's like it functions very much like a hoorah action movie for like like the first act, and then but with the subversion of you're like, oh, I'm watching bad guy, like the American Commandos in South America are bad. Like they're doing this is not a mission that is morally just or like right. Like this is all based on a lie, like Vietnam.
But we're a rescue team, sir, not assassins.
so it already has that subversion. Then on top of it being like, no, they're not the hot shots, the big dicks here. Like they're actually the fodder. They're prey now. Like,
yeah,
I think it's intentionally playing with those ideas.
I mean, there's definitely some level of intentionality there and subversiveness, I think, especially because, you have that scene where they literally fire something like 10,000 rounds into the jungle and hit nothing but trees.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. This was what are we like, especially going to the Vietnam of it all. It's like this was all meaningless. Like we what are we doing? We've lost the thread. Like this is not something that we can even do anymore in terms of like our military exceptionalism. It's like it's all a farce.
Yeah, and John McTiernan claims that they kind of did that because a producer or something told him the movie doesn't have enough shooting or doesn't have enough action or something. So he decided, okay, let's just do a scene where we shoot like a lot into the, so
it fulfills the quota, but also thematically works.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So moving ahead.
Yeah.
Moving ahead, where was I? Oh, okay. So, so after the montage, they fight their first real mini boss. Okay, which is the murder rhino, the quiet place rhino, because it has the same setup as the quiet place monsters. Armor, who grazes in a field of razor sharp grass. So, what you call it? Like something like razor grass, I think, right?
Yeah, I think
Blades
it's literally
grass?
razor glass. Or
Grass.
grass. I said glass. I meant grass.
Razor blades.
Yeah, which is just perfect fu energy. Like, yeah, we're like, this is
This is
just petty.
is fucking stabbing you.
It's so petty. And then that's where you meet I felt stupid. I didn't. It took me my brother midway through. I was like, wait, this is the twist, right? Because I don't know if you guys got it earlier than I did. Because
I did it until I'm just following them. I'm rarely trying to get ahead of a movie unless it's like so hitting me over the head. And maybe it was obvious in hindsight because the designs aren't that different from
it's
Bugs.
obvious from the first thing that Elle Fanning says in this scene. He's like, "That's the killer rhino thing." The callus eats those. It's callus food, and then we see
Bud
the
show
monkey.
up. Yeah,
The bud is
yeah.
like, "Wait, it seems like you're not the only one hungry for this thing." And like, oh, okay. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious in
You
hindsight.
know,
I'm just
I
stupid.
did not see that coming. But that's actually a good, yeah. Like he was eating that bison meat.
He was hunting it.
Yeah, so I didn't get that actually. But you're right. In hindsight, that's okay. So that was like, I like that. That's kind of like
It's clever.
yeah. It's a setup that doesn't draw your attention to itself, right? Like you look at
Because
it
so much has happened, it doesn't stop to like deliver that line or linger on it. It's like we got to get right to hunting it. Like so, it's like it's easy to get swept up and not really like process like what you just heard. And like in hindsight, I guess that is obvious. But I was not.
Me neither. I would not have gotten it. Even when we started seeing the callus like face on, I still didn't get it. But I'd turn me like, wait a minute, they have the same kind of nose.
Something familiar here.
It occurred to me only when the callus was about to kill him, but then it seemed to smell him, and it started to kind of pause right there. And then
that was when it clicked for me. I'm like, oh, because it spit on him. Oh,
yeah. Anyway, so they meet, they team up, and they do some Metroid stuff. Yeah, some platforming to kill the killer rhino. And it's really cool, and he gets this spine, and it's awesome. And they eat it. And then they eat it.
It's a good set piece because it leads directly into more action also because there's what's that bug in the trees called? It's called the
Luna bug.
The Luna bug, like, and she like offhand like mentions those early, like, hey, we better watch out for Luna bugs, and then they keep going, and then after they kill the rhino, he gets grabbed by one. He's like, "What's that?" He's like, "Is that the callus?" He's like, "No, Luna bug."
It's like 30 feet tall. That's not a bug. It's a monster.
On this planet, bugs are big.
It's a land where time forgot and things grew huge.
Like Skull Island.
Yeah, exactly. Skull Island. Exactly. This is good. This should have been Kong Skull Island, not that bullshit.
Come on,
Steven.
I like some stuff with Skull. I get what you're saying, that it's not like the island itself is not that crazy.
So boring.
I think the some of the human character stuff that they do with like Sam Jackson, especially John C. Riley, like I get emotional with the John C. Riley arc.
That should have been the movie. That should have been the movie.
He's way more compelling than Loki.
Anyone else
and Captain Marvel. Like I don't care about them. Them being the two, they just needed two white people to put on the poster. I think.
It's interesting. I found out on Twitter just I think a couple of days ago that originally like his character I think he was supposed to be like more prominent, and he was suffering from his own Vietnam trauma, which
Ghidorah like killed his platoon or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and
why did you take that away? That's like part of the universe's monster shit.
But how do you explain that he's in the ice cube then? Huh?
Yeah, he's like supposed to be frozen in the Antarctic for like hundreds, if not thousands, of years or something. So.
I don't know. There's another Ghidorah or something. I don't know. Yada yada. The universe doesn't make much sense anyway. So who cares?
It really doesn't. Anyway,
I'd argue they.
So I don't want to talk about the legendary shitverse. Okay, let's move ahead.
Oh, okay. King of the Monsters will be recognized as a great movie. Okay, give it a few more. No, I disagree.
We're not going to talk about.
King of the Monsters is great.
The only thing that's good is Monarch. The Monarch show is like, oh, this is what this should have been. This is actually good.
Monarch is the best part of that.
Monarch rocks.
Okay. Yes.
I still need to watch Monarch.
It's the Andor of this sequel trilogy universe.
Okay, but here's the thing: Monarch rocks because they literally, like, I'm pretty like as I recall, Michael Dougherty is one of who made King of the Monsters, has a huge creative input into that show. Like, I would say Monarch is doing what he wanted to do more so with King of the Monsters. Like
So,
Well, they
and that
should
he
have done
couldn't.
it in the movies.
And
yeah,
that he couldn't.
he was no,
He
he
wasn't
was
able
not.
able to
I
do
would say,
it.
look, he was not allowed to, and I'm telling you, that movie should have been like 20, 30 minutes longer. Like, it's super, like, if that movie were 20, 30 minutes longer, it would be a masterpiece. Okay? Like,
Maybe. We'll never know.
It has.
We'll never know.
Hey, it has a great trailer. I'll say a trailer I revisit even after the movie came out, and I didn't care for the movie. But although if you put Claire de Lune to like anything, I'm like pretty hooked. So like, it's a little cheating, but I think that trailer is legit great for.
All right.
The trailer, yes.
So moving ahead, okay, they get past Luna Bug and they get more Baby Yoda stuff because he gets imprinted on by Bud, and Bud starts aping him, mimicking him nonstop, and it's cute. It's fun. I think that's might be gag number 3.
So this humor worked for you more than the Thea.
Yeah, because it's pantomimic. It's it's not too. It's corny and it's silly, but it's not like it's not loud. It's not loud. It's not like So I did like that in that sense.
Okay. Yeah,
I think maybe the stick thing took it a little bit too far. Where he like I got him. Like, he can't.
They kept plussing it.
Exactly.
I mean, which my audience loved, but I'm like, yeah, you're playing really broad at that point.
Yeah. You, after Deck brings out the sword Ashford in it, but then he gets like the fire on the stick and makes that to a sword. Like, okay, that's cute, but it was cute like three moments ago too. A little bit much.
Okay, so so let's talk about Bud just briefly.
All right,
okay.
Stop, Bud.
Yeah, I just want to ask, like,
Baby Yoda can suck a dick. Fuck Baby Yoda. Bud's my best friend now.
Bud rocks.
But Bud is cool. But is Bud also maybe reflective of what some might call the Disneyfication?
Oh, it's very much
Yes.
merchandisable.
Mm-hmm. But interestingly, so I feel like someone pointed out, I mean, I'm sure there's more merchandise coming, that they haven't been as heavy with that, like towards the kid marketing stuff with all that tie-in stuff, which you think they would, this being like a PG-13 movie. You're like, is that not the reason to have this thing in it? It's like the marketing team or merchandising people just haven't caught up yet, but I think they will. Like, this movie's successful, so there's going to be Bud
plushes. Yeah, but it's like what they said in Gremlins too. I see when I look at you, your face on a lunchbox.
Wait, was that the second one?
That's 2, right? Yeah, that's
Gremlins 2. It's Daniel Clamp says it when he sees Gizmo.
Oh, Joe Dante was like, man, he was really
justice for Joe Dante.
I'm boycotting Gremlins 3. There's no Joe Dante.
What's the point? Oh, we gotta make it what I really wanted to be. A very generic, broad family adventure. Fuck.
Yeah. Joe Dante is the spirit of those, so it's like there's no point.
Yeah.
No, but I remember recognizing, years after the fact that, holy shit, Gremlins 2 was doing a lot of, subversive, self-satirizing, like
it was the Matrix Resurrections before Matrix Resurrections.
I kind of, I mean, I would say it was definitely before postmodernism took over, I think, like before it became mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like, to do that sort of self-evisceration and deconstruction, and that's like literally just one movie after the original, right? Like, I would say, man, that was like a huge swing with that. And
they crucified him for it.
Yeah, they did, sadly. No, but thinking about that, and just like, I really like Bud. I just hope like that it doesn't I just hope that they keep a kind of mean streak to Bud. Like,
there needs to be an edge to this
I feel like
franchise.
You know what? I feel like now that he's like 30 feet tall at the end of this, spoilers, it's I think it's gonna be really fun because
I was less worried at the end when we realized how fast he's growing, or we don't know how much time has passed, but just seeing that he's grown, I'm like, okay, cool. We're not keeping him like cute and doing all that stuff for like
he's still
forever.
cute-ish, but it reminds me of the Jurassic Park cartoon, which is the best thing in Jurassic Park since the first one. It's the best thing, and nothing else to come close. The cartoon rocks, where they introduced in the first season like this little puppy Stegosaurus, and
Is
it's
this
like
Camp
it's
Cretaceous?
Camp Cretaceous. In the first
Yeah.
season, they introduced like this little like 2 foot tall and wide Stegosaurus baby, right? It's got big Disney eyes, and it's got like this really weird color scheme. Like, oh, it's mutated, like, but it's cute, so we're gonna keep it around for like visitors. And they name it Bumpy because it has like little nubs all around it for its spikes. And then like 3 seasons later, there's a time skip, and it's like this gigantic, realistic Stegosaurus. Except it still has the same color scheme, and now it's like just regular. It's like that's cool, and it's
That's a better version of the cute dinosaur they tried to do in the last movie.
yeah, exactly, which rocked. So I feel like that taking the same tack with Bud in the sequels would be really fun, and also now that he's big and not cute and small, we can maybe play into his regeneration factor. Like I want to see him get fucked up in a fun way, you know.
Yeah, this does have fun with it. Like it's PG-13 because it's aliens and droids, so like you can do whatever. You can tear them up, cut off limbs and stuff. And I thought the effects with the how do we feel about the adult Colossus? Like it's a cool monster, right?
It's a cool monster, yeah. Again, like
It is.
and I love the way they plays with like its regeneration factor. So I feel like that'd be really fun with Buddy. If he does something heroic or something, and then he gets like messed up, chopped in half, and he's like, yeah, whatever. Like almost Deadpool-y, Deadpool 2-y. Not the third
Yeah.
one, the first 2 Deadpool, something like that. I mean, really fun to play with.
I was really wondering, like, how, okay, so he's obviously going to try to take the head off, and I'm willing to bet, like, it's going to grow a new head. And then it was like,
I
oh,
thought
no,
it was
wait,
going to grow the new head. The fact that it drags the old head, like that it just like reattaches that one.
I was like there's like a 10% chance it'd be 2 now. I thought.
Right, like it just has 2 heads. That would have been sick.
No, I mean like the head grows a body and the body grows a head.
Oh yeah. That would have been awesome. Also, maybe Bud can do shit like that. Like when he starts getting cut up, maybe his regeneration's like even crazier.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Again, it'd be there's much room for mean spirited fun with that. So I'm excited for a sequel with more Bud. He's a great concept as well. But yeah, moving ahead. After they abandon Bud, he's like, "Why'd you abandon Bud?" Because I can't take any more people. And so it's very Iron Giant in that. It's very Shane in that way. Like, oh, I can't bring you along, kid. I'm an old. I'm John Wayne.
Deck, come back, Deck.
Then it gets moves like a quick because that's when they meet the Callus there. They immediately go to the base where they meet. They find her.
Yeah, the fire is the most downtime you get, and otherwise the movie's it's moving.
Yeah, so they get to the Callus fight, which is really fun because he immediately realize how outclassed he is immediately. And it's like a comedy of errors kind of fight, and it's good. It's good. It's lively. It's not the fight isn't uninteresting. It isn't like gags, but the fact that everything he tries,
humor in it, but it's character based. Like when Thea saves him, and then you think he's gonna pull her up, he just grabs the gun. He's like, "Save yourself, tool!"
Yeah, like you framed me. I haven't forgiven you yet. It's great. It's great stuff. What do you guys think of it, Mikhail?
I mean, I really like all the action stuff in this movie. I'm not sure which set piece was my favorite, but definitely like the Callus battle was like at the top there. And I really do appreciate like the gags here because like like Thea is just trying to get her. She's almost got her, and then it's like, I think like Deck ends up smashing, like
he gets like thrown into the like little trailer or whatever, and it like the tables get separated.
It's like 90% there too. She's like 90% there. He starts beeping like it's almost finishing, and then he just gets She just
Come
destroys him.
on.
And then it
Yeah.
she gets trapped under, the legs get trapped underneath the table, so you can't move it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will also say that it's interesting how, like, I think just, going from Prey to this, you can see that, I think Trachtenberg's, um, I guess, what would you call it? Like his, oh, I don't know, ability? You might say, like, his action sequences have become better. Like, there's an improvement, I think, to the filmmaking. Like, there's more confidence in the way that the sequences are staged. They're kind of more, I think they're more elaborate, like a bit more showy in a way, right? But not like in a distracting way. But you can kind of see an evolution, I think.
I agree with that. Yeah. But yeah, I still ultimately prefer Prey, but like I think the action in this is it is a level up in terms of like he's probably just playing with a larger budget, but then the scale of it, but then also like you said, the confidence is there that he's like very willing to like go for broke with those sequences, and like we point out before, I think very blatant like video game feel to the action, like because I mean he's I think he in interviews has referenced a couple of games, but we know that he comes from like before he did any of these movies, that Portal short that he did, that's what put him on the map, so he is a gamer.
Yeah,
You know,
like
I
the actions are very like, what gotta keep trying something new, trying something new, trying something new. What's the pattern? What? And it's again, it feels very like you're almost in it. Like when you're playing a video game and you're in the kind of fight. You're like, what do I do next? And
no,
it keeps you moving, your mind
you're
moving too.
No, you're right. Like I think especially the Kalisk fight shows that like it's almost like you have to like he has to solve a puzzle like this battle is like he has to figure out how do I trap its okay like I gotta like trap it in such a way that right like so okay gotta goad it to come into this thing so then like I think like he shuts like the door or something and traps like and makes it
He's
stuck.
so close. He's
Yeah.
He
so
traps
close.
both ends of it, like, and even the head regenerating, like, doesn't deter, like, he's just figuring out something else then. Like, although I would have just kept hacking at the sinews attaching to the head, like, continually. I would have been, like, trying to move the head away from the body.
Yeah, I was
saw that happen.
wondering. I
was
was
like,
wondering maybe is he gonna try to cut it again before it reattaches itself? Because I would have totally been like, okay, you got to get the head away from the body, so maybe
put
then
some distance in between
yeah,
that bad boy.
Trap it in a different box. Keep them separate.
yeah. And that's interesting, right? Like maybe if he had done that, then it would have actually died at that point. We don't know that,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Like
can
it's
it live without its head? Where's its brain? We don't know.
yeah, like what are the it's interesting how yeah, they don't really I like how they they keep the limits of the Kalisk's regeneration kind of like I think it's good that it's not so omnipotent. It doesn't it doesn't go to the it doesn't it can die. It's not like completely unkillable because then that would have been kind of too ridiculous, I think. Um but I do like how they play with that, right? Like he cuts off like one part, it grows it back. He cuts off the head reattaches itself, right? So I was really wondering, well, is he actually ever going to kill it? Like, how do you work yourself out of that problem?
Right. My question is at the very end when they do the rescue mission, like he does seem determined now to reunite Bud with her mother.
Mother?
Yeah, but what was the plan that because he still said I'm going to get my trophy, has he just decided it's Tessa's head like he does, or was he still thinking of before she blows up the cows, was he still like doing the math of like, all right, I'm gonna reunite Bud and then chop off her mother's head?
I feel like it was Tessa at that point because Tessa did technically defeat the Kalisk, so
So
I think
she's the like apex,
exactly the arithmetic is like okay,
Yeah,
no, she's she's the bigger threat.
so I had that thought in my head on the one hand, and on the other hand, I was wondering, well, maybe he could chop off the head, and then the mother could grow a new head, but he could still take the other head.
Work something out.
Yeah. But yeah, I was wondering about that. It's interesting. I think that's like a point where I think maybe they could have clarified it just a bit more. It's like
because Thea even says like this is the plan. I'm like, so what is the plan? I would love to
yes.
know.
Yeah, I remember how in Prey that was like there was that one point towards the end where I feel the movie kind of stumbled a little bit, and that's what providing clarity in terms of like because the reason Naru is able to defeat the Predator is because of the orange flower medicine.
Right.
But I remember the first time I saw the movie, I kind of really didn't get that plot point, and I realized later apparently there were people who didn't get it either. Like it was like I feel like they kind of never quite communicated it well enough so that you wouldn't even have that question. But like upon rewatch, I was like, oh, okay, I see now. So she takes the orange flower medicine right before the Predator arrives, and that's why she becomes invisible because it like lowers your body temperature. But it's like one of those things where I'm like wondering, well, did they test screen it? Maybe that's the sort of thing that would have come up in a test screening, right?
If it
Like,
had been theatrically released and they had to do those, I mean, I'm sure maybe they still did test screenings, even though it was a streaming release. But it did feel like that he was just trusting his audience and because I picked that up more, yeah, on rewatches where I'm like, oh, okay, so the person from the tribe who got mauled by the lion, they gave him that early on, and then when he says my blood went cold, and then we see it again when she gives it to the trapper, and it fools the predator's thermal vision, and it's like, okay, so we've seen two examples of that, and we see her seeing the predator not picking up the Frenchman after he's been given the flower. So it's like, okay, we this is like when she makes the plan. But yeah, it's never like said aloud or like in very clear terms. It's just you just piece it together.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just wish maybe there was just visually a bit more like you see her, like maybe like there was a shot where she looks at her flower at her pouch or something, just to better communicate that a
No,
little bit.
I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
like just some kind of quick insert shot or something of because we
Yeah.
do see her preparing all the other pieces of the plan at the end, like when she's like preparing the trap near the mud pit. But I don't feel like we see any more clarification on the flower other than those two examples that I said. Like that she clocked, she clocks that one when with the Frenchman, and then that's just that's really just it. She just has the idea from that point on, I guess.
Hmm.
All right, so let's see here. Tessa shows up with the predator gear and traps both the Callus and Deck and brings them all into into her evil lair carrier on the way to the Yutani base. And Thea helps Deck escape with a very funny Chekhov's gun gag payoff with the children's toy, which I don't know sure even how it's supposed to work.
Right, because he's the joke of like, yeah, it's not that's a children's toy. Oh, it's a Yautja children's toy. It's like, so how many kids get killed by this?
Is it like a Jack in a Box kind of thing?
Jack in a Box that kills you.
I was wondering about that, but I think maybe the idea is that you have to it's almost like a puzzle box or something. So you have to open it the right way or something, So if you open it the right way, then it doesn't blow up.
Or maybe it's like hot potato, like you twist it, like you test this and then the last person is it,
No.
Right, it has to be in motion, and then one kid just gets unlucky and gets blown up or something.
Or has to duck or something out of the way in that time. It's like chicken. Maybe it's like chicken. How close can you get to it?
This is like how kids play Russian roulette.
Yeah, anyway, so that's fun. That's fun stuff.
Fun gag in any case.
Yeah, and he escapes, and then he decides to go full Rambo mode. He becomes Wolf. It's like, man, we're getting all this stuff. It's a fantastic montage, getting everything that he learned, everything that tried to kill him. He becomes full Jake Sully. He becomes part. He goes native. It rocks. It rocks. This is like he's like, oh man, I'm like, this is Wolf, man. This is Wolf. This is new Wolf, man. Ultimate Universe Wolf. New 52 Wolf. It's back.
Hey,
So you gotta watch EPR. Yeah.
Yes, but listen, can I just point out something? Is it me, or was this the first Predator movie with no heat vision at all?
Not at all. No, because I guess it wouldn't really matter because they're all robots. I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's interesting, right? Like every single, like, I think I was expecting to see at least like one heat vision shot, right? But
Because
I
that's
don't think
just like
they
a
do that.
staple, and they don't like. So going back to like how different this is, and like switching up the formula, that is like, not only does he not earn his cloak until the end, that he doesn't have like what seems like to be, at least based on the Predators in all the other movies, like that's like one of their main tool. Like without that, that's like they're trusting that implicitly, like to a fault, like, which is how like the humans are able to like win sometimes, is like that they over reliance on this tech. But it's like, yeah, Deck doesn't even have that.
And so, okay, so that raises a question, though, an interesting one. How does Deck actually like see? You know what I'm saying? Or rather, how does he like see the world? Because I think the previous movies have been, well, not very consistent in depicting like what Predator vision is like without the bio helmet. You know what I'm
Right, like, are
saying?
they kind of blind without it? Like, because this would suggest no, because Deck sees and is reacting to stuff in real time pretty deftly. So that doesn't seem to be a hindrance to him. But then it does seem like the other predators are like, that's what they're seeing. Like, if, without that, without their helmets, like they're fucked.
Yeah, like I mean I in the first one, right, it's like when you know when the OG Predator finally takes off his bio helmet and you have that amazing reveal, right, like of his face. You see how he like the whole world like turns red or something. And and that I think was one of those things where it's like, well, wait a minute, is he like blind? Like why does he see everything in this weird red palette? Like you can barely get any outlines or whatever. But then I remember in the second movie, there was actually, and maybe it was a goof, but I could swear like there was that point where, you know, the urban hunter gets his helmet knocked off or something, but he still continues to see everything in heat vision. So, you know, again, like not really sure, like how, you know, like what is the like what's like the default mode there? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, because it does seem to be conflicting, but like we've kind of alluded to before, like this franchise does kind of play loosey goosey. So like maybe some Yautja do are,
Well,
have limited vision.
there's different species. I think they've established at this point because they keep trying to redesign the predator. So now there's like a billion different species of predator, and
Right. And it's all
you know.
canon, so they
eh,
can't just like negate the other ones.
And
Yeah.
at this point, I kind of want to see. Let's get the John Claude Van Damme Predator into the mix. Like let's do it. I mean, come on,
Just go for it.
like that should be the concept of champions. All these different species of predator.
Didn't
That should
they
be it.
wait a minute, didn't they already kind of have that bug-like design in Predators? Like, because there's like a point where they find another dead alien, and I could swear it was the original
It
Van
could
Damme
be.
Predator design.
It could be.
That
But
might
I
have
mean,
been like a yeah, an Easter egg they threw in there. It's been a while since I saw Predators. I really like. So a lot of people hate that movie. I think Predators
it's
is
good.
fun.
Yeah,
I
it was a
It
big meme
doesn't
that no
it
one can
doesn't
repeat
it
anymore.
doesn't take his advantage of this as like having an actual alien environment, because like I forget when
It's
I'm
like
watching
it's just the
that
jungle.
it's
yeah,
just another jungle. I forget that they're on like an alien. I'm like, oh right, this isn't Earth.
I didn't I never hated it. I just always thought it was kind of mid
It
and
was
really
okay. It was
well
just
it
okay.
had no yeah, it was okay, but like nothing really but like I would say the
Like the
best
script's never
ideas.
like blowing you.
The basics are interesting. It's just it
Yeah.
doesn't do
It's an
enough with
interesting
it.
concept.
No,
Yeah,
like a lot more like you watch that and you're feeling there's just a lot more potential
Yeah,
here than is ever realized. Like you can imagine a much better movie, for example, focusing around Lawrence Fishburne, even though he has like a 5-minute cameo. Um,
yeah, because his character's pretty. Seems pretty interesting, and then he's like, all right, bye.
yeah, so that which you know again it was like I feel like yeah they probably could have had less characters but done more with
Maybe have a
them.
bigger twist than Topher Grace
Yeah.
being like a
Hey,
Oh
that
serial
my
was cool.
killer.
God.
That was cool.
It
That
was,
was cool.
No.
yeah, but it was so
I didn't
obvious.
like
I'm
that.
like, oh, he's just a regular guy, huh?
He's the medic. That's why he's there.
Yeah,
Wink, wink.
he looks so normal.
I would say
But it's one of those things that would have been expanded on more. Like I should have been like full. He should have been the villain like last series. He should have been killing people on screen, not just Walton Goggins. You know?
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know. I like Goggins. I think Goggins
Goggins
was
is great.
really.
Oh,
I know who's saying that no one likes Goggins. Goggins is great. He has a couple of lines that used to be big memes, but you can't repeat them anymore because of woke. But those his quotes used to be everywhere. You know.
Mm.
Especially that big one.
I would say Predators as a whole just suffers from being, really redundant in a way. Like I feel they made a mistake, for example, trying to keep like the Predators off screen and hidden for like the first 30 minutes or so, because by that point, you really shouldn't do that because, well,
we already
you
know
can
we're
do
watching
that.
a Predator movie. It's really just the first one that you can play with
Yes.
that surprise of like, oh, because it's really just like a twist. I mean, I don't know how they market
because
it.
Because they're just walking through the forest like 20 minutes, and that's like boring. It's kind of boring.
Yeah, it is. And then it's like, and I mean, like Stephen, was it Stephen Hopkins or Norrington, the director of the second one? He himself, like, admitted, like, we showed the Predator like in the first scene because like you can't keep him in the shadows anymore. And I think that's a very correct and organic approach. That like once you've already revealed the Predator, well, any sequel now, well, you should be showing more of him. It doesn't make sense to.
I feel like that's the only one that does that regresses like that, because you see him like pretty off the bat, like in AVP, AVPR, the Predator.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but again, like just to say, like that's like one of my issues with the movie. Like it's redundant in that way. It's also redundant in how they kind of like. I mean, it's like that is I think a movie that was really trying to mostly play to the formula. And especially, like, I think even the score there was mostly just like. Actually, can I just say this? I think one reason why I love Prey is because that was really the first Predator movie that had like new music. Like pretty much all the other, maybe even I don't remember the Predator that well, but all of the other Predator movies before Prey, basically all of the sequels before Prey, basically reuse the themes from the first one. Like they don't really do much with the music. It's just the kind of like familiar. It's just like the score is like rehashed, and then you watch Prey, and suddenly not only does it take you into a different time and place and create a different atmosphere, but it also finally it's like you're hearing new music, actual like original compositions just for this movie. And Badlands does that as well, right? Like from the opening themes, like you have that kind of almost kind of mythic chorus or chant or whatever on the soundtrack, right? I just really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no, it sounds distinct. Like Prey sounds distinct from the other movies, and Badlands sounds distinct from that. Like I was reminded more of like the score for. I don't think the show's very good, but I do remember some of the Book of Boba Fett like the music, and like I was thinking of that during parts of Badlands. Like
yeah, it's very Mandalorian, like boom,
yeah,
and then, like the little trills there. Yeah, it's very like there's a Western flavor to it too. Here.
I still
Anyway,
need to watch that.
Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, I guess if you need to know how Grogu comes back from
There's like-
left
there's like-
one season, yeah.
there's like 3 good episodes and whatever. Anyway, all right. So moving back to Badlands, we're in the final stretch here. Just to go back to the helmet thing, I think it was all worth it. Because the Rhino helmet is just so cool. It
looks awesome. His
looks
whole
so
look
good.
here is cool. Like he has like the kind of organic shoulder gun now. Like it's like all that is sick.
It is. He's got his grenades. These kinds of grenade things. He's got his kind of spinny, spine thing. It's fantastic. It's just so fully in his element. Like he is like this predator. He's like part of the landscape now. He's part of the environment. He is a predator of this world, like in a more literal sense now. It's great. It's and everything he does with them is so creative and so fun. When he plants like these charges basically on the crates, and he gets all these
Mhm.
synths to crowd around him, and like they set him off, and it just goes one by one by one. It's so good.
And
It's
it's
fantastic.
fun.
It's fun.
It's like, yeah, there's a level of playfulness here that I appreciate. I also think, his overall appearance after he's done that, I like that it's a little goofy. There's a kind of goofy, just the way that his mask is like, I think it covers only about like 2/3 of his face or something. I'm like, that's a little goofy, but it's cool, but it's goofy, and I like that.
And even Thea has like the reaction of like, "What is that?" when she sees the mask. like, oh yeah, that's new.
Yeah, so I hope he keeps some of that stuff around. I know he kept like the razor blade like pauldron and stuff, which is that's a sick, but everything else I think I would love to see carried forward. It's useful and it's unique. It's really unique. And I think that'd be, again, when you think about like if this eventually does lead up to an AVP movie, like what's the interplay between like, natural, natural species, I like, yeah, we've seen Alien go against like technology before, but like, I want to see some of this stuff. How does that handle? How does that fare? That'd be cool to see.
That'd be cool to see. They just need an interesting take of like from the xenomorph side, because like I mean, maybe this is just me because I'm just kind of bored of them at this point.
Yeah, me
so
too. I am too.
I need some kind of different take, and I'm not saying like some kind of hybrid because they've already done that in various forms. So it's like it's not even like a design or visual thing. It's just like they need the xenomorph to do something different than just be like
Yeah,
run
'cause
around and
I feel like
kill
that's what
people.
made I think that's why I think AVPR is the better AVP, because yeah, I think while Scar is cool and Sanaa Lathan is really great in that movie, and their romance is really cool, and they almost kiss, so I'm just
Hmm.
saying they gotta say there's lots of interspecies stuff in these movies, the Predator movies
I mean,
lately.
AVP one like feels like it's teasing that, and then it doesn't
Well, it's
follow
because he died.
through.
He died. It's
Yeah.
tragic. It's like Titanic. Okay, it's tragic.
It's basically Titanic.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. It is basically Titanic. Anyway, is because yeah, the xenomorphs in that felt very. It felt even more dumbed down than in like Aliens, which I think is the worst Alien of the main
No,
three.
okay, we are definitely going to have the Alien series discussion. I'm
So wait,
sorry.
so sorry. Say that again. Which is the dumbest
Uh,
one of the
of the main
aliens?
three
Is which one?
the Aliens is 1, 3, and an Aliens.
Oh, okay. I actually do see that argument, and not even talking about like the quality of the movies, because like the alien itself is like it's so killable in
Well,
Aliens. Like
yeah.
Okay,
for me
but
they counterbalance it by it's just like a swarm now. Like there's just so many of them. So even
And
if
it's
they
like,
are
and in the
okay,
individually less
but that's
and it,
like part of the that's like part of the point. That's like part of the genre switch. That's like the escalation. You know
I
what I'm
don't like
saying?
the genre switch. I think it's boring.
It was no, but to me, like that's really you can't replicate like the horror, like the slasher horror kind of fear of the unknown vibe of the
Yeah,
first movie. You
I'm
just
not
can't
saying
do
that.
that.
I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying that what they did was boring.
Ah,
Alien 3 didn't replicate that either. It was more like this kind of
oh,
weird high
I,
fantasy kind of thing, and it was magnificent.
okay.
The
So I would
the
say
dragon
okay.
alien, the dragon
I
xenomorph is
am a
like
defender of 3, even if some of those effects
the,
look rough.
well,
Like
Completely
the
incoherent
dragons.
mess,
No,
disowned by the director.
because
Like
he's a
well,
coward.
Fincher is not
He's
of
a,
the most salient. I mean, he's
he's a
Mr.
coward.
Netflix
I'm
now,
sorry.
so
I hate. I still hate Alien 3. I just I
Even
can't.
the legacy cut.
It's like literally trying to replicate the first movie just
I
in a
mean,
different like a
I know it. I
total
don't agree.
reset.
I don't
Total
agree with
reset.
that. I don't agree with that at all.
No
dynamics are
character
completely
progression from the
different.
last film.
I will
Completely.
good because though they sucked. I'm sorry, they sucked. Hicks is
They
so boring. I'm
no,
glad he
but
died.
like the whole
Nuke could have lived. Nuke could have lived, but I'm not shedding
the
tears
whole
over that. Hicks is boring.
and look,
I
the
think 3
most
has some really cool
interesting.
characters.
Okay, I will
Yeah,
say
three is cool.
okay, But I will say
They're
this:
monks.
I,
They're
I,
monks. I love it.
I'm a Resurrection defender. I think Alien Resurrection is the best sequel after Aliens. Like, I
That's
mean, like,
crazy.
no, seriously, I think Resurrection is amazing. Like, it's like it's like this homoerotic surreal fever dream of an alien movie. Like, and yeah,
And
kind of.
and Alien 3 wasn't. I mean, come on, there was
No,
someone's
no.
gotta give it
That
that movie.
Alien 3 was just a mess. Alien Resurrection is messy, but it holds together, and it really is maybe the most surreal and like
Maybe
artsy and
maybe I'm
homoerotic
maybe
alien movie.
maybe I'm biased because I've seen like the Legacy cut, and Legacy cut's amazing.
You know, I've seen the Legacy cut. I still,
Really? You don't like it?
yeah,
My God.
I'm still
We're,
not like fond of. I just can't. I mean, I'm just like,
all right.
just like the
Are you
very
moved
basic
by
premise of
Ripley's
it.
sacrifice?
I am. I am.
I mean, it was okay. I never quite. I
See,
don't
to me,
know.
I was so moved by it that initially I bounced off of Resurrection because I was like, "How dare they undo her, her sacrifice?"
I don't mind that because
Okay, but
Ripley 19
look,
is so cool. She's
yeah,
a
Yeah,
cool
it's a
look,
character.
different character. Like she's not playing Ripley.
Ripley.
Yeah.
yeah, but I
Meanwhile,
like that. Like
No,
the
I'm
yeah,
saying
we're
I came to
agreeing with
accept that. Yeah.
we all like that.
right.
You know,
No, but what I'm saying is that, see, here's the thing. In the third movie, Sigourney
Charles S.
Weaver
Dutton.
seems
Go
checked
ahead.
out. She
oh
seems
no, I
really.
don't agree
In
with that.
Alien,
I don't agree with that at all.
she's really,
Ripley
no,
is
I'm
just
serious.
emotionally exhausted. Like I don't think
Exactly.
I think Sigourney's like authentically playing that.
Very,
I
very, very,
I
very
think
like
Just opening herself up to momentarily with the Charles Dance character, she's like giving herself that little spark of like, wait, can I find something here? And then boom, he gets killed, and it's like, nope, there's nothing
and
here.
again, that whole thing to me made no sense. But like, okay, but again, I find
Charles
that
Dance is
Sigourney
hot.
Weaver
What
is
doesn't make
checked
sense?
out. I think she's phoning it in. You look at Resurrection. No, she's like completely invested
because
here.
I feel like
Just
she was having fun. I don't think I wouldn't
yeah.
call it invested, but having fun is. I think she was definitely having fun.
No, but like the way, but really, like just
Okay,
so
why are we
she's like
talking about? Let's move. Let's save us for the alien
okay,
thing we're doing
sorry.
in the future
Yes,
because
okay,
we're moving
fine.
far away.
Yeah.
We're on a big tangent. Anyway,
Yes, we are.
yeah. So that's why I feel like AVPR is better than AVP in terms of that because they were very much they had no other than Grid, which is very much just like let's give the main xenomorph like a mark. There's nothing to that. AVPR, the xenomorphs are more of like a more of a tangible presence, I think, especially the Predalien.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
what I'm hoping. Jack Trachtenberg seems like he's a creative guy, so hopefully he can
yeah,
actually come up with
yeah.
some kind of new like purpose, like narrative thing for them because it's like I need that to be invested in anything xenomorph again.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I wouldn't mind Black Goo stuff. I think that's that would be a fun.
Black Goo's on the table and
Yeah.
Romulus. I don't like Romulus, but it did say Prometheus. Hey, we're not erasing that. So
So I feel like that would be an interesting way, like get them on a Black Goo planet. It might be similar to Badlands, but I think that's and then maybe there's xenomorphy stuff around there, and that could be like representation of that, maybe like a proto xenomorph again.
maybe use some of those designs from because like the designs of like the people infected with the goo and Prometheus were originally they were like more monstrous. I think. Like
There's,
so
there's
like
that
you-
later that was in a sequence of the guy who got like who was attacked by the snake thing. He had like more of like elongated like xenomorph head and
yeah,
and
so there
arms.
could be people like that on the goo planet or something.
Yeah,
Like
so
that's
that'd be fun. It'd be fun. Get Deck
please,
there.
no more goo, no more like. I'm sorry,
I don't.
I just
The
can't
goo,
with that
the
stuff
goo's
anymore.
great. Romulus sucks, but the goo is
look,
great.
yeah.
I won't judge the goo based on Romulus.
Well, I think one of the problems with the xenomorphs is that it's very hard to do anything new with them after a while, because they are.
we know the tricks.
Well,
Yeah.
we do. Yeah, we do know the tricks. And I think, and here's like the difference between in the
That's why I love
Alien.
the prequels because it's all about David.
Yeah, but
Yes, David
but
rules.
yeah, but let me just say this. I think like the predators are more malleable in some ways, because they are already
Yeah.
like more humanoid. You can kind of maybe put more, I don't know, put more human traits in development there. The xenomorphs, on the other hand, well, they're animalistic, right? They're more they were originally they're more like abstract in a way, right? Like they kind
Right.
of they kind of personify, I think, all of these I don't know, fears of, I don't know, like sexuality and
forced
consumption and whatever.
pregnancy and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Right. They're far more abstract. So and because of that, they are harder to do anything with. Like, I mean, you can't I don't think we can get to a point where the xenomorphs are able to legibly communicate with humans, or they become capable of truly, like, you can't relate to them in a way.
I'm not saying I need that. I'm just saying some.
We need a good setup for it, like something that makes it. Because again, I don't think any of us wants another bug hunt.
Yeah. Because like there seems to be, like, even though we know the tricks of, like, you can't really surprise us with the fear of the unknown part of the xenomorph anymore, there's still a lot we don't know about it, and I don't want those, like, question marks filled in necessarily, but you can expand on it, because there's always the question of, like, how intelligent are these things in terms of, like, sometimes it seems like they're laying trap. Like, there's the frustrating thing about Romulus is it starts to tease moments where it's like, wait, is it like trying to lure this person into the room, but it doesn't follow up on any, like, notion like that for some reason? But like, if you have more, like, hints of that, of like, wait, is there some kind of intelligence? Like, it's not just like a mindless, like, insect hive mind that's it's just reproduced, like it, but it is actually, like, taking time to, like, trap prey and stuff, or like what's that about?
Which is one thing that I love about Resurrection, because over there, they really do, like, like, one of them actually learns how to use human technology against, its captors and stuff like that. Like, that stuff was really, really well done. But also,
hey, there's stuff I like in Resurrection. I'm not a Resurrection hater. I just
Yeah,
think
me neither.
there's some big script issue. I like the. I mean, I think it just
True.
as the older I get, the weeding of it all, like, rubs.
Yeah.
Like, it's just his writing style has not transferred well.
I would say the movie that Jean-Pierre Jeunet made is at odds with the script that
Definitely.
Whedon wrote, like, a lot.
I'm not a Resurrection hater either. I'm not. I
think that's a better execution of that hybrid thing than in Romulus. Like, because,
the
like,
newborn
when
is amazing.
Romulus did it, it looks kind of cool, I guess, in Romulus, because it has, like, part engineer.
I hated that.
I didn't like it either, but I'm saying, like, the thing about Resurrection is, like, even if it looks like a little wonky, there was, like, I felt sorry for the hybrid in Resurrection before it gets killed. I don't feel anything for the thing in Romulus. I'm just like, yeah, it's a monster, kill it.
I mean, like, it's a new, I'll say that movie was cowardly. It was cowardly in a way I didn't expect. And I'm not to rehash Romulus, but if we do the alien thing, we'll probably get back to it in the future. But when it brings out like this little sucker tongue, I'm like, are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it? No, it just kind of plants it into Isabel Moner's neck, right? And like, oh, okay. If they should have gone for it.
It's surprisingly
they should have had
Alvarez's, like, reputation, especially at this point, like, after Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake, which I still like. I like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so like I was like, oh, he's gonna go hard as hell with Romulus.
And then it's like corny and silly and ridiculous.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, I would say Romulus, just on a script level, it's kind of a failure for me. Like, it doesn't have any real narrative or character, like, progression or consistency, really.
No.
And the one thing about Romulus that I did enjoy was that they finally delve into the xenomorph's growth process. Like that moment where you see it come out of a cocoon, like like how it goes from like
that's a little interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't really need it.
No, I think that's an area that the movies are, for some reason, afraid to explore. There was always that question: how the hell did this little sucker?
Is there a need to explore it? I mean,
I would say that's
because it looks slightly phallic, which I like that it continues that design element from the Geiger.
It's like Species. It feels like Species. I guess like it looks a bit inspired by Species, but she's also in a very similar cocoon as well.
Like,
Species.
what I'm saying is there should be more weird sex stuff with xenomorphs.
No, there definitely should be, and that's one reason why, again, I love Resurrection. They literally take all of the psychosexual subtext and make that into text.
It's text now.
Yeah.
She wants to be a mom. It's good.
Yeah, no, but really, like, I mean, at one point, like, okay, sorry, I would be I'm talking about Resurrection too
Yeah, I
much.
know we are. I'm getting a little, whatever.
Yeah. But no, but what I'm saying is that for me, the how a xenomorph actually evolves over time, like how it grows and everything, that's like an area that I think is worthy of further exploration. That would be new territory. Like I just feel like it's hard to find anything new to do with them. But then, like if you
It's just
find these
tricky because
areas,
you have to thread that line of like you could give us more, but don't give us too much because then they're not
Yeah,
scary once you explain
I
too
that's what
much.
I feel like. If we're gonna be AVP thing, it's set up for Peer with Mother, where it's like where Tessa lies to Mother, saying, "Yeah, the predator was killed. Don't worry about it." Like, okay, so it's
Mother's
no
like,
longer a
okay,
threat.
good, good.
It's no longer
Yeah.
a threat. So once it finds, I feel like that's gonna be the through line, where like the Wayland not be the missile, it's the alien that's gonna be the antagonist, be like whatever Wayland Town's gonna throw at it, or we'll throw at deck or whatever.
Yeah, maybe they got some weird alien shit. Like it doesn't even have to literally be a xenomorph. It could just be like
They
like
had the
that's
goo.
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what's cool about the Ridley prequels is expanding the idea. The alien doesn't just mean xenomorph; it means anything alien. Like this is like unknown, like including David, which is like his thought process is alien to us.
Yeah. Anyway, moving back around, you know, they, um, Decken is gone full nature boy, and it rocks. And Tessa gets into a gigantic mech suit, and it also rocks. And,
It
at
could have
which,
easily not because like
yeah,
I think I'd seen
like oh,
someone
this
mention
might
the
be too
power
fan
loader.
serving. It might be too
Yeah,
fan service, but no,
no, it's
it
cool
goes
because it's
hard.
a different context. Because before the power loader was like it empowers Ripley to stand up to the queen, but now this is like it's almost it's kind of scary for Deck, because it's like this massive thing is now hunting him, and he has to like quickly, you know. Figure out a thing to do about it, but those shots of like where the light from the power loader is looking down on the crates and stuff, like there's like real tension there, and I like that.
and again, it goes back to that whole, nature versus technology, kind of like the primitive, I don't know, like like the primitive abilities versus like the technologically advanced ones, right? Like it brings that
Yeah. I mean, you've pretty
conflict, I
much gone
think,
full
like
Avatar at this point in the movie. Like this is like, yeah, this is
Yeah,
the end of Avatar.
it's very Jake Sully versus Quaritch. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to say I was quite impressed with how it progressed and how they were able to. I mean, like she has that buzz saw and everything, and she gets to use it like quite extensively. I was
Yes, it's
surprised.
so cool.
Yeah,
That feels like a video game. That feels like a final boss. Like, okay, here's all these tricks against you. What are you gonna do? You've powered up, but how can you fight this kind of thing? And it's really great.
Or
And
one of those stages of the fight where it's like you can't even really deal damage right now. You kind of just need to buy time till you can get
yeah,
to the phase of the fight where you can do
yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's yeah, no, then the Callus comes and they fight as well, and that's great. Um, and then fake out ending where everyone's happy, and then Thea just destroys it from the inside. Which I guess hey, Deck should have probably thought of that as well.
I immediately thought that that's what was like. I've rewatched Men in Black so many times, so when I see someone get swallowed by an alien, I'm like,
Yeah,
they're blowing up that alien.
and then she was priming it too before, so like yeah, no, this is gonna kill it. I didn't realize it'd be permanent, but yeah,
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I was like, would that work? And then I didn't reform, so I'm like, I guess it worked.
well, she clearly used the freeze grenades like in conjunction with the plasma caster, right? So basically, she kind of
It's
like
just the one too.
yeah, so she started to freeze it from the inside out, and then and then I guess like that just broke the callus apart into so many pieces that it just cannot reform from that. which I
But
guess
if
is
those
how you.
pieces unthaw, they're not going to try and move back together, or it's just
I,
it's
I
too
guess
much
no.
of
I
an
kind of
uncertain-
thought that's going to happen, and then we never see it happen, and it kind
Yeah.
of treated like a death. So I guess
I
I
would have
don't.
swept up the pieces just in case and kept them in a jar and be like, all right, we're just gonna bring this
Let's
with us.
let's see. You don't know. You don't
Let's
know.
see what happens.
We'll see what
I,
happens.
I will say, I thought maybe she would blow it up from the inside, but they played it just long enough to make me doubt that. Like, I like how long it took to go from there, because it's like, okay, now
Right, it's not immediate.
yeah, like, and okay, now he and the Callus, Deck and the Callus sort of like they make peace, right? Like they kind of know words, right?
It's a nice
Nonverbal, but
moment.
yeah, like it was sort of like that sort of emotional progression moment, and then it's like, and then they kill the Callus off, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, so
Right at the height of us having a connection to it, boom, is
yeah.
gone.
Yeah, so I really appreciate how long they held that, like it was I think the timing there was just perfect.
It was just Again, it made me doubt it too. Like maybe not, but nope. No Disney ending there, and they get the Django Fett, Boba Fett moment. Like yeah, we're in it together. And it's great. It's great stuff. And to tear off the head and everything. It's good. It's good.
You gotta give Tessa props also, right? Like she actually killed like the
The
unkillable
unkillable.
monster.
Yeah, she did. So
So
that
the logic does track that she is like when he brings her skull to his dad, it's like he did get the apex predator on this planet. Like
Yeah.
that's what she was.
Yeah, she's, yeah, exactly. That's how Paralogic always worked. Okay, I'm hunting this thing, but this spy's beating its ass. Guys, move to that. You see it in Prey. You see it in Predator
That was the
2.
coolest part of Prey, of him working his way up the food chain. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, he does the snake, now there's the wolf, and he just keeps like
That-
going a bear.
That's why I like the idea that that's the first hunt on Earth, because I think that's what they kind of promoted it as, and now they're like, well, maybe not. Like, no, whatever. Predator canon is loose enough where I'm like, that's the first hunt anyone's ever had on Earth.
Yeah,
Or maybe-
I'm just going by the movies, the cartoons, or that's just fun.
Or it could be like the first hunt of this particular clan,
Doesn't matter.
because they have different clans, they've got like different kinds of, like I mean the whole thing about the predators specifically seeking out like hot climates kind of went out the window, I think by movie 3 or 4 or something.
They have
right?
they have like T-Rex heads on display, and like 2 in this one, So like it's really ridiculous, because it was hot back then. Get it?
The warm climate stuff. Does the predator bring up climate change or anything? Because I feel like that's like a you want to use that as some kind of in.
No,
I'm like,
I don't. I
we
think
can
they.
use
I think they did, because they mentioned
Okay.
be practically terraforming. Maybe I'm thinking Pacific Rim. I don't
No,
want to.
well,
Pacific
okay.
Rim sounds right. Like that was more of a thing than that. Like our planet was just right for the kaiju.
No. I think they brought up climate change and that we're going extinct. So that's why they're like, oh, the climate is making them kill more, not because it's better for them, because we're killing our planet with the climate change stuff. And so they have to get all of us, ahead of time to get our precious autism spinal fluid.
I see.
Oh
I haven't
God.
seen the movie. I know the autism part of it.
I
and
just remembered it,
made me
'cause
avoid it.
that's what I remembered it right now. It's very clear. Illumin's like saying it's feeding season because limited supply. She says something like that because we're going extinct because of climate change. They do bring it up, but not like in that kind of way.
They should do the thing of like, no, our climate is warming, which is perfect for the predators. So then there's like a full invasion where they're just like, oh, let's just take Earth. Like that's perfect for us. Like now.
But no, that they try to subvert, like, oh, it's a twist. He thought it was because it was good for them, but that's because we're going extinct.
Okay, well, I will say, I think the way that I remember it, climate change actually factored into Alien versus Predator, because the story there is that they have this pyramid in the Antarctic, but apparently, thousands of years ago, like, the climates there were warm and was like, I don't know, like Mayan mythology or whatever, and the people there sacrificed themselves to so the predators used to come there because the climates were warm.
That vaguely sounds right.
Yeah, no, that was also it there. But again, none of these films fit together. I don't. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So this could. And so anyway, Badlands 2 could be whatever it wants at this point, as long as it's good.
I'm pro that. I'm ultimately feel that way for like pretty much most franchises. Like when people start trying to connect like the Mad Max movies in terms of continuity, I'm like, who cares? Like Evil Dead and like franchises like that. I'm like, just give me a
Just go
fun,
with it.
cool movie, and then let the nerds sort it out.
I think it depends on the franchise because some franchises are more reliant on continuity and consistency than others. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying, but I don't think is Predator a franchise that's relying on continuity.
no,
No, it's not.
not really.
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
it's very been adamant against it. But anyway, so after all this, after everyone's dead and gone, however many times days have passed, Deck goes back to his home planet and meets his father and challenges him again. And it's also a really cool fight because not only does he have like the razor blade, razor grass, little baraka blade thing going on, but like I love when he uses his cloak and then he gets the ship.
He has the ship ready. Like he's planned this all out. He's very prepared.
Yeah, like okay, he's gonna use the cloak, obviously, so he's going to kick up dust using his ships that the father still makes an outline so he can track him, and that's great stuff.
Yeah, like I mean, he knows how to take away a predator's advantage, right? Like he knows how to, which is actually kind of interesting because it's like, does he really need the cloak though? You know what I'm saying? Like I like how they call it a cloak, because a cloak, I mean, you think about it, right? Like a cloak, a robe, right? Like it has that connotations of a certain, I don't know, status or regality or whatever, right?
Right.
So I like that he decides to get the cloak, but I'm just like, man, he really doesn't need the invisibility at this point, because that's like
he's
a
leveled
cheat.
up beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like his father literally, like he literally he's like one of those cheater predators, right? Like who basically turns invisible the moment the fight starts to not go his way, right? And Deca at that point, like he's leveled up enough to know, no, wait a minute, like that's not going to that's not going to help you, right? So
he's a better hunter because he's not reliant on all that stuff. But that almost opens up the possibility, like, oh, him having that, he's going to be even more like because he'll deploy it in a way that other Yautja never thought to do.
Yeah, because like it's exactly. If you're not reliant, you boost your stat up before you get the upgrade. That way, it kind of it bumps up more. It means where you're doubling up.
New game plus. He's
exactly.
a new game plus now.
He's a new game. He's a new game plus. Exactly. It's very video gamey. So that's great. And it's fun stuff. And then then he and his girlfriend and their adopted baby all live happily ever together.
Or do they?
Yeah. So I'm going to bring it up again because I really don't want to think of Killer of Killers again. But okay, so the design aesthetic is very similar. Is Dex clan the Bone Clan from Killer of Killers?
Like the Bone Clan was the one that appears in that gladiatorial.
The ones that are doing the Contest of Champions, because the design aesthetic, like between the little we see of it, was very similar.
I don't know. I like to think not because I don't know. I didn't really like the idea of that specific group of predators and what they do. And they have this, Grendel King or Warlord or whatever he was, I'm hoping, I guess they could be, but I hope they are not.
Yeah, like I said, I only watched the first part of Killer, so I don't I'm looking up this Grendel King and like what their look now. It could be like there's enough similarity. I don't feel like they have to be beholden to it. It could be or could not be.
All right. Anyway, so but yeah, no, the little mid credits, right after credits tease thing where like you get another huge warship appears and like, who is that? It's my mother, and, and that's great. It's great. It's Meet the Parents.
There should have been a needle drop of mother.
No, like I think but again, I think that goes back to that to the fact that this is the movie that really and again, it's a very organic progression because you can only keep your your creature, your supernatural being mysterious and secretive for so long, right? Like I think like here what they're doing is very much what Cameron did with the T-800 Terminator and Terminator 2. Like, it's like
I
you
did have that
develop,
thought. Yeah.
yeah, like you develop that as a character. You start to demystify, the I don't know, being or creature. And now it's like, and naturally, like the question arises, well, okay, so if they have family, if they have like, if he has a brother and a father, well, he must have a mother. Like that was a thing that was like in my on my mind actually. Like, I wonder what's like, where are the mothers? Where are all the female predators now? Right? Like, so
Yeah, right.
for
Is it
me,
like that segregated of a society that the women were just like gatherers or something? It was like, no, it sounds like just the way he says it, that she's maybe scarier than the father, like this might be a bigger deal.
yeah, and from what I have read, and I have not admittedly read the comics, but the chatter goes that in the extended lore or universe or what have you, the Yautja are revealed to be a matriarchal society. Like apparently the
Ooh,
mothers are actually supposed to be at the top of the food chain or hierarchy or whatever. So if that's where they're
that's
going,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, that's like, yeah, that is interesting. That's like a whole other, can of worms to explore right there.
King Deck the Barbarian. That's where it's headed.
Like, yeah, they should have had like a tease at the very very end of the credits, of
Or
him like
he's on
sitting
he's
on
on
the
on the
throne.
throne, and that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
That should be the reason Arnie's back. Because he's gonna be king. He's gonna unite the clans. That's also a reason why
What the
Bishop Killer
people really yearn for is the end of Chronicles of Riddick, where he
Yeah,
begrudgingly sits on the empty throne, and now he's
you
the
keep what you
leader of the
kill.
necromongers. Yeah.
You keep what you kill. No, but honestly, I kind of want to see. You know what? I want to see that. Maybe
Riddick versus
AVP.
Predator? I'd watch.
Yeah. Maybe AVP is like, well, you tell it. We got to wipe out the predators because they're ruining our bounty hunting scientific business by killing all these aliens and shit. So they just carpet bomb, Yachtja Prime, they call it, right, with all the aliens, and so Deck has to save them all. So that's the thing. Like it's Operation Desert Storm. Okay. With Predator, like get to
I
the
mean, that would
caves
continue
now.
the origins of the, like we started as a commentary in Vietnam, and then like, yeah, let's keep it. Let's comment on other American colonial projects.
Yeah, no, Deck is like, is like we got to protect people within this cave system from the aliens, from the xenomorphs. But that'd be great.
Interesting,
And
actually.
if he saves them all, he becomes king. Becomes King Conan. Yeah, let's do it.
I'd watch it. I think that he's done
it.
a good job of setting up these like I would watch a follow up of Naru in Prey. Like I hope we get one that's not her just in a
Coliseum in the
Coliseum.
future.
Yeah, like I want her actual story from her timeline to continue. Like I would watch that, and then also similarly here with Deck. Like I'm invested in him now. So like I think Trachtenberg's done a good job, and hopefully he continues to understand. Like I feel like the advantage of this over other franchises that I keep hammering on is that like if these are complete individual stories, like you can build on these like in a larger world context, but like at almost everything we're seeing in these movies is to service those main characters' story.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's little Easter eggs like the gun in Prey, but it's not like taking itself. It's not stopping Naru's story to like give us that stuff. It's like inserting things like that you can do a Leo point at the screen at, but then it's still her story.
I think it's interesting how the I feel like there has been a shift over the years in terms of audience acceptance of sequels and franchises. Like I think back when Predator came out, it was really hard to fathom a sequel without Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And I feel that is one of the key reasons why Predator 2, well, for one thing, why it took them so long to make it. and also why it was not successful, because it was like, well, wait a minute, what is this like? Oh, like they're not in the jungle, and
It was like too
yeah,
different
yeah, it was
for
too different,
yeah.
right? But I think, 20, 30 years later, it's like our understanding of what a sequel can be and what it can do and what it should do is different. Like, we don't need Ellen Ripley now to come back in every
Right.
Alien movie for it to be an Alien movie. And in that sense, I think Predator was kind of perhaps unintentionally, it was kind of ahead of its time in terms of like, because every movie wound up basically being like almost like its own thing, like without returning recurring characters and stuff, and without like returning cast members even. So
They were ahead of the curve, but almost accidentally by virtue of them
yes,
not being able to like have that same kind of continuity and bring back their stars, that they just had to come up with something different each time.
yeah, exactly. And you look at that now, I'm like, wow, wait a minute, Predator 2 was actually like pretty good. Like, I mean, it
Yeah,
was different, right? But that's like a virtue. That's not a,
yeah.
that's not a flaw.
Because like,
No.
what did we gain by bringing Dutch back? Like his story was he encountered the predator and survived. Like this.
Well, we're Danny Glover, man. I hate that so
Yeah,
much that they
yeah,
did that.
but what if they were in a coliseum?
Well, they fought each other. Like the constant champions, like so. Okay, it would work. I think if they were old. Like, I don't care if like they're back like that to the constant champions, whatever. It seemed like a natural kind of idea. If you want to do like, oh, we gotta do that's something that you can imagine Predators doing. But like, I hate that they're
Mm.
like, okay, a couple of days later, they all got picked up.
Okay,
Lame.
okay, wait a minute. Okay, so here's my headcanon solution to that. What if the idea is maybe they'll retcon it, but if they actually go back to that whole notion, what if it turns out that they didn't really abduct anybody, like they didn't take anybody, but what they did do was
Was
they
clone them?
cloned them, right? Like
um,
that's why Dutch and that's why all of them look, the same age. So
Young.
they kind of so they take your DNA and they create like a clone of you, right? Like so
I
I
think
mean,
that's
the
like
clone.
why.
I think the clone should still be old, though. I think
yeah,
it's
me
more
too.
interesting if they're older, because one, de-aging always looks bad, but and then also, I don't know, you just do some old Snake stuff like Metal Gear Solid, like, oh, I don't know, the advanced aging of the clones. Ah, they got old.
Maybe, and that would create interesting.
Like they have a
I
very
don't.
limited lifespan, and then you can get into like some Blade
Yes.
Runner ideas where they're like, "Oh, we don't live that long. We want our freedom and autonomy," and
Yeah, and you can existentialist stuff can be explored on the character level that way. So I'm just saying, like, okay, that would be one way in which, like, okay, you could have Naru continue like to have her story, but then there's like a clone of her out there in space, frozen somewhere.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know. I'm just throwing it out there,
I, I'm. I mean, I'd be with that.
I'm
Why
more
not?
into that than what it seems like they're trying to do. Yeah, they should contact us. I think we have a lot of good ideas here.
Yeah, King Deck. Let's do it. Let's do it. The Chronicles of Deck. Wolf. I'm gonna call him Wolf. Now he's Wolf. And again, I love that. Again, like DBS Broly. Like we got this this character that people love. Stuff that like, hey, it's okay. Just port him into the main canon, and that's what they did here with Deck. He's definitely Wolf.
Because
Reborn,
now knowing
revisited.
that does feel very into like I at first I was like, oh, that's a cool metaphor in a way to introduce him to the concept of like this caring for a collective. But then the wolf specifically, like they could have picked another kind of hunter animal. So like going with wolf,
pack.
that's yeah, I don't know. It seems like the intentional signifier there.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is a tease toward AVP. I think that the reason why we be building up is that he's going to be the lead of that crossover when it happens.
Well, it would be weird if we finally get there and then it's just some brand new predator that I don't give a fuck about. That's like, no, where's my friend Deck?
Yeah, exactly. Where is Deck? Is he okay?
Yeah.
No, I definitely can see Deck becoming a recurring, like, fulcrum character, assuming that assuming that that this film makes enough money and they decide to keep it going. right? And so far, it's been a really,
It's
you know,
doing
it's been
better
a
than projected, I think,
y-
is what the word is for at least as of this morning, that it was like opening larger than they thought.
yeah, like I mean, it's not that big, but hopefully, you know, maybe good word of mouth, like small second weekend drop, all that stuff. Like
I mean, my
I'm hoping it
audience
has
fucking ate this up, so I
Yeah,
think
me too.
this
Mine did
will
too.
play like gang, but like I think it'll have some legs because like the stuff that's coming in the actual next big blockbuster isn't until Avatar, right? Like between now and then, like it's really only competing with smaller releases, right? Unless I'm forgetting another movie that's about to come out.
you know, Knives Out 3.
Yeah, those really bring, yeah, especially with the limited the Netflix release of 1 week. They really got to look out for that.
Yeah. Well, there's the Running Man, but that looks like crap.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I am excited for The Running Man. I'm sorry.
Tom,
Everything that I've
Tom
seen
Cruise told me to
is
be excited for it, so I have to see it.
I just can't because we had like filet mignon with the long walk, and now like Running Man. Why couldn't we get a good version of you?
well, here's the thing. I like Edgar Wright, and everything that I'm seeing points to this being a good or at least a solid Edgar Wright movie. You know, I'm just like
I know,
watching the
but
trailers and I'm like
like
I can see it. I feel like I see like, you know, I feel the tone of it and everything. I'm like I'm liking what I'm seeing, you know.
I just wanted a good version of Running Man, and we're never gonna get that. I've seen it twice.
There'll be an HBO miniseries in 10 years, and they'll they probably won't get it right then. It'll be Andy Machete doing it.
All right. Anyway, any last thoughts on Predator Badlands?
Oh,
It was a blast. Like
was.
it's Radlands. Like I wanna see it again. I wanna just hang out in this world. Tell me when the game's coming out. I'll play it.
Yeah.
I wanna watch the film again, probably on a better, larger screen. I am very impressed with what they're doing and what this could mean for the franchise going forward. I don't think it's quite as great as Prey is, but like I think that at least the Comanche version of Prey, like that is for me like that is like the S-list Predator movie. Um,
Yeah.
you know, but I really have to say it's fascinating to me how this really does feel like an organic progression from the way that the predators have been depicted, right? Like it was like the demystification of the predator was probably long overdue. I would
Right, it
say.
doesn't feel like that they're kidifying or Disneyfy. Like, yes, this is more accessible. It's a PG-13 movie that's going to play to a broader audience, and some of the humor has that elements. But in terms of the Predator itself, I don't feel like they're doing any kind of like character assassination or anything, where it's like you're taking away the edge of the Yautja. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like this all tracks.
Yeah. No, I would have liked about it is that it's a coming of age story, but a coming of age story is like, yeah, no, I still my way of life is still good. It's just like maybe it could be better, but it's still good. Like you don't like I reject the call of the warrior and killing. No, I just got to kill
He's
better.
like, I'm going to become a different kind of warrior that's better. Yeah,
So
I'm
that's
just
good.
built different.
It's like what he says, like when like a wolf protects its people, and he's like, yeah, I'm be the kind of wolf that
That kills the most.
yeah.
No, but I think it's cool that it feels right that his character arc is ultimately like I was wondering how exactly the movie would end, like how they would reconcile what his initial goal is, right, which is to prove himself to his clan by bringing the trophy home, right? Like, and at the end of it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So his arc ultimately is to break away from that and to realize his own self-worth and to begin his own clan, essentially. Right? Like he basically creates like a new family. Like
Found family.
but yeah. And and it's interesting because his brother tells him bring the Callisk home, right? And he actually does because
he brings a
Bud.
Callisk home. Yeah,
He brings a Callisk home. not like a trope, but like yeah, that technically
He
still
tamed it.
honors his
Yeah.
brother that way, right?
He honors
Yeah.
his brother and he avenges him. Like I also
Yeah.
like that moment's not overdone too, because sometimes when it's like, oh, they're gonna kill their evil father, is gonna be like a big speech. He just fucking
No.
finishes him.
Yeah, like again, he like it's not. He doesn't become like a more like standardly noble hero. He becomes he's still a predator, but he's a cool predator, like
He's
Scar.
like, I'm an apex now. I'm at the top.
Yeah. So that's why I
Yeah.
think like best character arc could be King of the Predators, Unite the Clans, John Carter, Jake Sully, etc.
I honestly, I hope that we like. I hope there really isn't like a singular, I don't know, predator, king or queen or whatever. Like it's just, I think it just
Just
makes
for
more sense to
clans
kind of,
is more interesting, yeah. And then, but
yeah.
if his clan, his new clan that he's starting, gets like mass appeal, like he starts getting too big almost, that like the other clans are maybe like, oh, hold on a sec, this might be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, what about you, Doug? What last thoughts on Badlands? Oh, sorry, was it Mikhail? What did I say?
Yeah,
Who did it?
I feel
Yeah.
like I already said some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, if I have any other like final thoughts, it would be, I'm just hoping that we can still get a Predator horror movie at some point in the
Yes.
future,
I think that's still, this doesn't like negate that. Like there's the doors. I feel like this just proves like it can be a lot of different things.
No, for sure,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
would love to see an antagonistic predator. I don't want to shut the door on that either, and I don't think this does in that way because there's different clans. There's like the Bone Clan that's doing their shit. I would love to maybe see like just pivoting off killers. Like what if let's say that they take with where they kidnap them, not cloning, they kidnap them. What if a guy who survived and they come back to kidnap him has to fight him again to not get kidnapped?
Mm.
Like what's spinning off of that idea, I think it's interesting.
mm,
So I think there's avenues to continue that going, and I think I don't think that they're gonna. It'd be lame. I think that it would be lame that if they kept just more their POV. Like, they think they're effective horror villains. Exactly.
Yeah, they should just keep Dex clan as like the
The
heroic,
good
or maybe
ones.
the anti-hero clan that we get the POV of, but all the rest of them are scary still. Like
Yeah.
that would be fine.
Yeah. Anyway, I liked it. There are things I wish I liked more, but got me excited. I thought it was really rad. It gave me at least a little glimmer of hope for what the franchises are doing. Just arrest Fede Alvarez to exile him
Well, that's
to
why
Antarctica.
I'm weirdly more, because I always was an huge alien guy, and I had the mentality of like, well, I have to pick one or the other. Kind of like when I was a kid, I was like, well, I have to pick Star Wars or Star Trek. I can't be in the both, even though that was wrong-headed too. But it's interesting that I'm now much more creatively fascinated by what Predator's doing, until like Alien has its unlimited potential technically, but it's just no one's tapping that currently, So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of them finding someone and them letting someone do something interesting with it. But I'm not gonna keep
I
waiting
feel
for that to happen. Like hopefully that happens, but I'm just gonna see what they're cooking up with Predator.
yeah, me too. Anyway,
I
so let's tag out here. Doug, tell them where you can find you.
You can find me at the Doug Files on Twitter. Also check out my podcast, These Guys Got Juice. We've been doing some. We had a lot of cool horror movies that we were covering in October. This is Noirvember, so going to be covering some classic and recent noir movies on there. Check it out, and then also start hosting some streams on Twitch. The channel's called the Juice Tube, so check us out there.
And where can we find you, Mikkel?
I'm on Twitter at MLS532. I'm also, on Substack. I write a lot about, how and why movies change, working on a column about the, final cut of Kill Bill right
Mm.
now. Yeah.
Oh, I hope that's
So
not
it's,
terrible. The final cut. I mean,
oh, I mean, I think it's going to be great, but I've already seen of the parts that composite it. I'm going to be talking about what the new anime sequence is, because it was actually Tarantino like spoiled it 16 years ago. So yeah, so you can find me at textualvariations.substack.com.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, always great to have you
So-
guys here.
Yeah, this
I'm
was
not
awesome.
sure we're gonna do next. We're planning on Scream next. So we might
Yeah,
have to,
I'm very down for that. I'm fearing we're gonna do the movies first, right, and then the show.
we're gonna do the move. We're doing them in order. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Show 5
Oh
and 6.
God! All right.
I don't think I've like seen enough. I've only seen like the first 3 and then parts of maybe 4 and 5, and I
You
haven't
gotta
seen
see
the
4.
6th
4's
one.
great.
I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
join in, Mikhail, the Olive Branch is always extended. Okay, and then I think Alien and Predator stuff after that covered. I think there is a treasure trove of wealth, obviously, as we've gone into. I think maybe like 40 minutes of our entire discussion where it was alien stuff.
And we barely
no,
scratched the surface. There's
Yeah,
way
yeah,
more.
no, I would love to talk Predator, because like I've rewatched pretty much everything except The Predator, and I have a lot of thoughts about Predator too. Because
yeah,
I'm just
let's do it.
I need to
Yeah.
rewatch that one. Yeah, I could come with thought, and maybe I'll finally have seen The Predator by then.
So we'll do them in order as well when we get to that. But we're doing Scream. If you want to join on Scream, always happy to have you.
I'll think
And
about it.
thank you all for listening, especially that one commenter who I hope enjoys me next time. All right, see you guys and have a great one. See you next.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.